How do you explain that, Professor?
Okay, now we're live. Not the smoothest handoff ever. Yeah, I won't let you use the same stream key. Because if one stream's using it, then you try to stream something else with the same key, then it freaks it out like it did over on the channel there. And this is going to run until about 4 p.m. Pacific time. A little before that, actually. So, got 3 hours and a half old-time radio. Then, Fireside Chat with Jim and Jade and myself on Missing Persons and Mysteries. I'll put a link in the chat when we're getting close to that. And then I'll probably come back and do more old-time radio on here until time for Ghost Stories at Midnight. So, hopefully everybody followed us over, although I only see Tanya. And, yeah, Janine thought we were already listening to old-time radio. That was the blues show. Grits and Gravy. The old-time radio is not music. There may be a little incidental music in there every now and then. Occasionally he'll stick in some an orchestra or something, but it's courtesy of Antioch Broadcasting Network that lets us join their stream. We're going to go to that now. I'll run the station ID here, and then should be live with Old Time Radio Sunday already in progress. Enjoy, folks. Take your ionized meat tablets and get your luckies out. It's going to be a fun time.
Network.
You're listening to Kpnl Radio, Portland, Oregon.
You've just heard an episode of The Mysterious Traveler, which originally aired Tuesday, March 14th, 1950, 71 years ago today. This episode of Escape originally aired Sunday, March 14th, 1948, 73 years ago today.
Afraid to face the tax collector? Fed up with high prices? Want to get away from it all?
We offer you
Tomorrow?
Escape.
You have shipped aboard a South Sea schooner with a ghost and its dead captain in command. A ghost who shoots guns, resurrects the dead, creates a terror from which you cannot escape.
Escape, produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight we escape across the limitless horizons of the South Seas in Alfred Noy's version of a classic legend of blue water, The Log of the Evening Star.
Tahiti, French Oceania, June the 19th. The sailing schooner Evening Star, reported missing since the 1st of April, today was discovered 100 miles west of here, drifting about in a dead calm, with all sails set, but not a soul on board. The ship, when found, was well stocked with food and water, and all three of her small boats were still present. The big body, the son of the ship's cat, was lying in the bow, and the mess table in the crew's quarters had been laid in preparation for a meal which was never served. Otherwise, everything aboard seemed to be in order, and no solution can be offered to explain the 12 whereabouts persons who sailed on her from San Francisco. It appears that the fate of the Evening Star will remain permanently one of the weird and unsolved mysteries of the sea.
My name is Harper. I'm first mate of the South Sea schooner Evening Star. I'm writing this because I believe it my duty to make some record of the terrible things which have just occurred. Events I can't possibly enter in the ship's log. I can't, of course, be certain this account will ever come to light, because I'm not likely to live another 24 hours. I guess I should have been able to see it 3 weeks ago, on the day we sailed from San Francisco, but I didn't. I remember I was standing on the deck of the Evening Star, talking to Cato, the cook, while we waited for Captain Burgess to come aboard. We were due to sail in a half hour.
Where you think we go on this trip, Mr. Harper?
Oh, I don't know, Cato. Marquesas first, then Tahiti, maybe on to Australia.
It's good to leave port. It's better on open sea.
You said it.
We seem very strange this trip without Captain Dayrell.
Yeah. We'd had the same gang together for over 2 years. Some Kanakas, and the crew, you and I and Burgess, Dayrell. Hard to believe he's been dead 4 months now, isn't it?
Yes. Captain Dayrell was proud man. Was good captain. It's too bad he died.
Yep. Well, Burgess will make a good skipper, too. He was all right as first mate.
Why he no come on board yet?
Captain Burgess? Well, I don't know. Just can't bear to leave that new bride of his, I guess.
You have seen her, Mr. Harper? You know her, maybe?
No, I haven't. He's been staying down the coast somewhere ever since he got married a couple weeks ago. I don't even know who she is.
New wife, new command. Oh, he's a lucky man.
Cato, I got a strong hunch you're a sentimentalist down underneath.
Oh, it's possible, Mr. Harper. It has been said...
Hey, Cato. There's Burgess now, coming down the pier.
Oh, is somebody with him, too?
Yeah. Guess she's come down to see him off, huh? At least we'll get a chance. No, that's Mrs. Dayrell.
Yeah, maybe she go on ship, too, just like old time.
No. She wouldn't want to sail on the ship her husband died on. I wonder... No.
Mr. Harper,
No.
Mr. Harper, look. 3 birds fly around the mast.
Yeah. I see him, Cato.
It's very bad sign. Really bad.
Well, I don't know what you mean by that, but...
Harper, is everything in order?
Oh, right, Captain Burgess. We can sail any time you want. How are you, Miss Dayrell?
Why, just fine.
Dayrell? Oh, yes, of course. Mr. Harper, even though you're already acquainted with the lady, I'd like my wife.
Your wife?
We were married 2 weeks ago, Mr. Harper.
Present?
I'm sailing with you on this trip.
Well, that's fine. I'm glad to have you aboard, Mrs. Burgess. Well, it'll be like old times.
Old times, Mr. Harper?
Well, I mean, all of us together and everything. Well, congratulations to both of you.
Thank you, Mr. Harper. Look, I brought Satan along, too. He wouldn't miss this trip for anything.
Yeah, he's right at home. How are you, Satan? Would you like to look over the clearance papers, Captain Burgess? I got them right here.
No, thank you, Mr. Harper. I'll assume they're in order. We'll sail as soon as Mrs. Dayrell... As soon as my wife's trunk comes aboard.
Yes, sir.
I'll be in the cabin if you want anything.
Cato, would you take Satan and give him something to eat? I think he's hungry.
Yes, Missy. I'll take him right now. Come on, Kitty. We'll go find something to eat.
Well, Mr. Harper, we're all together again.
That's right, Miss Burgess. We've even got Satan on board.
Yes. All of us, except my husband.
Your husband is down in the cabin, Mrs. Burgess. You mean we're all here except Captain Dayrell? Well, once out at sea, things straightened out a little, the way they always do. After a while, We got so we could think of her as Mrs. Burgess instead of Mrs. Dayrell. And after that, it wasn't so awkward. Captain Burgess stayed to himself quite a bit. But all in all, it was a fairly pleasant 3 weeks. Up until yesterday afternoon. I was standing in the bow, smoking, watching a school of dolphins skip out of the water when Mrs. Burgess came up behind me.
Mr. Harper, I wonder if I could speak to you a moment.
Of course, Miss Burgess.
I'm terribly frightened.
You're frightened? What about?
Is he around anywhere?
Is who around?
My husband. I don't want him to hear me.
What? Now, Mrs. Burgess, I can't listen to
No,
that.
please. You're the only one I can turn to. We're all in terrible danger, you know.
Danger? What are you talking about?
Do you have any reason to think my husband may be Mr. Harper? Not self.
Not
Quite him.
quite himself? In what way?
Do you think he may be insane?
Of course not.
Yes, but you don't understand.
I understand one thing, Mrs. Burgess. I'd better get back to my duties.
I quite agree with you, Mr. Harper.
Captain Burgess.
I believe you really should stay in the cabin, my dear. It's far too windy for you up here in the bow.
Yes. I was just going. I'm going right now.
She has a rather delicate throat, Mr. Harper. Catches
I mean, I'm...
cold easily. Used to be a singer, you know.
Yes, sir, I know.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course you do. But don't pay too much attention to anything my wife might say, Mr. Harper. She's upset. Just don't listen to her. Pay any attention.
Something was wrong, all right. No question of that. But I couldn't figure what. I couldn't think of any terrible danger. It seemed more likely it was Mrs. Burgess who was not quite herself. Well, anyway, the whole business didn't make much sense, so I shrugged it off and forgot about it. For a couple of hours. It was just at dusk. Most of the crew was below decks. I was sitting on the after hatch, scratching the ears of Satan, the ship's cat. The sun was just dropping past the horizon, and Satan was purring and meowing. Everything was pretty peaceful. Until I heard those voices coming from Captain Burgess' cabin.
He acted, you told him.
No, really, I didn't. I wouldn't tell anybody. You know I wouldn't.
It wasn't a matter of eavesdropping. They'd even forgotten anyone might hear them.
You don't mean it. You're only saying it.
I mean it all right.
Then you don't care about me. If he were alive, I'd still be with him.
You can say that when you know about the thing that's here on board with us?
Imagination, I told you that.
Imagination, eh? Is that what you told Harper? Is
It's your...
it?
No. Don't.
Answer me!
Let go.
Look out, Satan.
Now, this is what he wants me to do.
Captain Burgess! Captain Burgess!
Yes, Mr. Harper. What is it?
I wondered if you wanted Cato to bring your dinner here to the cabin, sir.
No, Mr. Harper. I'll eat at the wheel.
Yes,
Going
sir.
aft now. Tell him to bring it up right away.
All right, Captain Burgess.
Mr. Harper, listen carefully. You've got to help me.
All right. How?
Meet me on the afterdeck as soon as it's dark, in an hour if I can get away from him.
Did you want something else, Mr. Harper?
No, sir. Nothing else, Captain.
And suppose you go about your duties.
But your wife, sir. Doesn't she want something to eat?
She does not, Mr. Harper. She's indisposed. She does not wish to be disturbed. Is that perfectly clear?
Now I was convinced that there was danger aboard the Evening Star. I had a feeling that something deadly was stirring itself and coming awake below decks. The first night shadows were bringing a terrible, threatening tenseness. I felt that I ought to scream to keep from laughing. Yet there was nothing to laugh about. Quite certain that if I hadn't knocked on that door, Captain Burgess would have killed his wife. But why? Well, I hadn't found any sensible answer by the time Cato brought a tray of food to my cabin.
Good evening, Mr. Harper.
Oh. Put it there on the chart table, will you?
Thank you, Mr. Harper.
How's it look on deck, Cato?
Oh, that... I don't not understand you, Mr. Harper.
I mean, well, is it dark yet?
Oh, it's get dark soon, I think. And I think, too, tonight is not good night.
What do you mean by that?
Is something bad on board ship, Mr. Harper. I no understand what. I no see it. I no hear it. But inside, I sense it all the time grow bigger.
Well, that's your imagination, Cato.
Is imagination bother you too, Mr. Harper? This morning, 3 birds fly over ship together. All day I burn much incense. Again, tonight, 3 birds fly over ship together.
Well, what about it?
Is a sign of death, Mr. Harper. Tonight on this ship, somebody die. You like something else, maybe?
No. No, Cato, that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Harper. Good night, please.
So, I wasn't the only one on board who was feeling something was wrong. I wondered if Cato knew any more of what was back of it than I did. You couldn't tell by looking at him. He could be busting with joy or scared half to death. And that face of his would never show either one. Anyway, 10 minutes later, I was out on the dark fantail, watching the moon cast shadows from the rigging. After a while, I heard her calling my name.
Mr. Harper! Mr. Harper!
Here I am, Miss Burgess.
Oh, thank heaven.
Where's the captain?
I don't know. He didn't come back to the cabin.
All right. I suppose you tell me what it's all about and talk fast.
I don't know what it's about, Mr. Harper. Not really. I only know that my husband has gone insane.
You told me that earlier. What makes you think so?
Oh, he tried to kill me.
Yes, I know. Why?
Because of last night. He came into my cabin and woke me up. He was trembling, white as a sheet.
But why?
He said he'd just seen Captain Dayrell on deck.
Dayrell, but he's...
Yes, he died 4 months ago. I told him he imagined it. But he keeps talking about it. He says Captain Dayrell has come back to punish us.
Punish you? For what?
Well, for not waiting longer to get married. Oh, you've got to do something.
Well, if I use force, Mrs. Burgess, it's the same as mutiny.
Yes, but he's insane. He may do anything.
Yes, you're right there. I don't know, but what...
Wait. There by the mast. Look.
It's Dayrell.
No. Oh, no.
There wasn't any doubt about it. The moonlight behind his shadow threw toward us on the deck. And he had on that tall, peaked cap and the white muffler he'd always worn when he was alive. He didn't move, didn't say anything. Just stood there, looking at us.
No. Hey.
Miss Burgess!
No.
Before I could stop her, Miss Burgess turned and ran for the rail and jumped overboard. One of the Kanakas saw her, grabbed a life preserver, and went in after her. I ran to the longboat hanging in the davits at the port rail.
What happened, Mr. Harper?
I don't know. Let's get this boat in the water. Mrs. Burgess is overboard along with one of the boys. Did you see anything on deck?
What I see, I don't believe.
All right, come on, move. Here, take the oars. The schooner's not got much steerage way, so they shouldn't be far astern. Come on, come on.
Somebody's shooting on deck.
All right, never mind. Keep rowing, will you? We'll find out about it later. We've got to pick up those two before they go under. We didn't find them, though. The shooting on board stopped after a while. We rowed around for a half hour or more. We couldn't find a trace of them. Finally, there wasn't anything else to do. So I told the Kanaka to pull for the schooner. We were about 10 yards away from the side when...
Mr. Harper, look!
I looked up at the rail, and there stood Dayrell. He didn't say anything, just stood there. He had a gun in his hand. Dayrell, what are you trying to do? Grab that oar, Joe. We got to get away from him. Joe, I said... Oh! We were drifting away from the side of the schooner. I felt a sharp pain in my shoulder where the bullet had hit. But the Kanaka was worse off. Blood was running down over his face from a hole in the center of his forehead. That's when I passed out. When I came to, it was broad daylight. The boat was I was lying and was bumping up against the side of the schooner. And Captain Burgess was calling down to me from the rail.
Mr. Harper, are you alive?
I'm all right, Captain Burgess.
It's been a horrible night, Mr. Harper. It's all right now.
Can you help me aboard, sir?
Yes. Can you lift up your arms?
Yes, sir. Here.
Easy now. Cato, give me a hand here. Careful now. All right. There. It's a pretty bad wound.
I'm kind of weak. Guess I lost a lot of blood. Sorry about your wife, sir. We couldn't find her.
I know. There's only 3 of us left alive on board now, Mr. Harper. You and I and Cato here.
What happened?
You may not believe it. It was Captain Darrell.
Yes, I saw him.
Got a hold of the ship's guns and killed the whole crew. Locked me in the cabin while he did.
But he's dead, Captain Burgess. We buried him at sea 4 months ago.
No matter. He's come back now, Mr. Harper. It's his ship, the Evening Star is, and he wants it.
No, it's not possible. The man is dead.
That's what his wife... my wife said when I told her I'd seen him. Said I was crazy. I think she knows better now.
Maybe we could search the ship.
Cato and I went through it at daylight this morning. We found nothing.
Well, there has to be some explanation.
There is. The wicked shall be punished for their sins.
What do you mean by that?
Nothing, Mr. Harper. Nothing at all. Well, I was his friend. Always thought a lot of Captain Darrell. You know that, don't you, Mr. Harper?
Yes, sir.
It's all right now in the daylight. But he'll come back tonight as soon as it's dark. It's only the 3 of us now to face him, Mr. Harper. 4, if you count Satan. And I'm thinking there's more than one Satan on board this ship.
They helped me to the bunk in my cabin and left me there. That was about noon today. I could tell by the look on Captain Burgess' face that, well, it was pretty certain I wasn't going to live. That's why I decided to write this account. Try to set down everything that happened. In a way, this is the real log of the Evening Star, even if it doesn't make much sense. Anyway, right after sundown, Cato brought me in a tray of food.
How you feel now, Mr. Harper?
Oh, I guess not too bad, Cato.
You like something to eat, maybe?
Later, maybe. You can leave it there, huh?
Yes, but you eat now. Later, I think we all dead.
Has anything happened yet?
It's not dark yet. When it's dark, then he come.
Yeah. Where's Captain Burgess?
I no see him. He's hide somewhere, I think.
Cato, all those who were killed last night, what happened to their bodies?
He's buried in sea. This morning I helped Captain Burgess. You like something else, maybe?
No, thanks, Cato.
Then I go burn much incense, make peace with many gods. For last time now, I think. Goodbye, Prince.
I lit the lamp over the bunk, and I lay there for a long time. I don't know how long. I didn't know where Captain Burgess and Cato were, or what they were doing. I kept waiting to hear the sound of shooting. Kept lying there, dreading it. And then gradually, I began to realize that somebody was singing on board, way off. And I knew that voice. I'd heard it somewhere before, singing the same song. It was Mrs. Burgess.
Mr. Harper, do you hear it?
I hear it, Captain Burgess. What in the name of heaven's going on?
It's her. She's come back, too. She's in there with him now in the cabin.
Oh, that's impossible. She drowned last night. She's dead.
They're both dead, but they've come back. They're in the cabin now, and she's singing for him. She never sang for me, Mr. Harper, but now she's singing for him. Come, Mr. Harper, you've got to help me. I tell you, they're both in the cabin right now.
Yes, sir. I don't know.
Oh, you're too weak. I forgot. I'll go alone. I'll stop them somehow. I've got to stop them.
I pulled myself up in the bunk, and I put my feet on the floor. Weak or not, one way or another, I had to get to that cabin. I managed to stagger outside onto the deck. Captain Burgess had disappeared somewhere, and there was no sign of anything moving there in the moonlight, except Satan the cat, who came up and rubbed against my ankles. The singing had stopped, and the ship was quiet. I made my way forward, and finally was looking through the skylight, down into the captain's cabin. One lamp was lit. Its light fell on a hunched figure that strode about the cabin, cap pulled down low, hands sunk in his pockets, all the old familiar gestures. It was Captain Dayrell, and he was alone. I crouched there by the skylight, shivering from the night wind and from the terror inside of me, watching that awful figure. After a while, it walked over and stood beside the phonograph. And then I realized where that voice had come from. Dayrell had always been crazy about his wife singing, and he'd made a lot of records of her voice. He was playing one of them now. The song went on, and he paced back and forth. I still couldn't figure it out. And then, for just a moment, the white muffler fell back from his throat, and for the first time, I saw Captain Dayrell's face. I'm not sure how I managed to stumble back here to my cabin. I'm writing this now just as rapidly as I can. I may be interrupted at any minute. If that happens, I'll try to slip it behind the map here on the cabin wall in the hopes that it may be... I can hear him coming now. Whoever may read this, please try to get word to my family in San Francisco. Yes? Come in.
I thought you might be asleep, Mr. Harper.
How could anybody sleep, Captain Burgess, as long as Dayrell's loose on board?
Yes, that's true, Mr. Harper. Should have seen him down there and her, too. He was walking up and down the cabin down as proud as ever, and she was singing for him just like she used to. You should have seen him.
I did see him.
He never sang for me like that, not it. You saw him? Did he look natural, just as always?
Captain Burgess, it was you I saw, dressed up in Dayrell's clothes that were stored in the sea chest there in the cabin.
Oh, no, Mr. Harper, you're mistaken. It was his spirit come back to punish us.
It was you all the time, you who fired those shots last night. You're insane.
That's what she said, too. That's because he told her.
Because it's the truth.
Now he's been talking to you.
He's talked to nobody. He's dead. And you've never seen him except in your own guilty conscience. Just what is that guilt, Captain Burgess? Did you kill him?
Oh, don't! Don't say that, Mr. Harper. I was his friend. I thought a lot of him, and Mrs. Dayrell, too. Everybody knew we were friends. Did he tell you that?
You're completely mad.
Don't say that, Mr. Harper. I've got to save you from him. He talks to you, and you're weak, and you can't run away. I've got to save you.
Burgess, put on that gun. Don't,
don't. Save you. Got to go someplace where he can't find us, Mr. Harper. Go up deck. I'll take you, Mr. Harper. Come on. Don't worry. I'll save you from him. It's his ship, everything on it, and he wants it back. We've got to give it to him, Mr. Harper. Got to let him have it. Got to get off the ship.
Captain Burgess, what has happened?
It's you! Dayrell! Go away!
It's no, Captain Dayrell. It's me, Cato.
You can't stop. I'll show us, Dayrell.
No!
You see, Mr. Harper? I killed him. Dayrell. Now he can't stop us. There he is again. There by the mast. See him, Mr. Harper? He's coming this way. He won't stop. Got to get away. Got to save you, Mr. Harper. Here's the rail. I'll help you. There! See? He's gone, Dayrell. Now, there's just me. And I'm going too. You see, it's all yours now, the Evening Star, just like you wanted it. No, stay back. I'm going.
Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and tonight brought you The Log of the Evening Star by Alfred Noyes. Adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield, with Jack Webb as Harper, Alan Reed as Captain Burgess, Gail Page as Mrs. Burgess, Louis Van Rooten as Cato and the Cat, and Pinto Colvig as the Conica. Music is conceived and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Next week...
When you're tired out from doing nothing all weekend, when Blue Monday stares you in the face, next week at this time when your problems seem just too much for you, we offer you Escape.
Next week, we bring you another exciting story of high adventure. Good night, then, until this same time next week, when once again we offer you Escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
You're listening to KPNL Radio, Portland, Oregon.
Brought to you by Mac & Mind Software and your donations. You're listening to ABN, the Antioch Broadcasting Network, serving listeners on the Internet and community radio stations with a variety of old-time radio. Visit radio.macandmind.com for more information. We now present Chandu the Magician on ABN, the Antioch Broadcasting Network. This episode of Chandu the Magician first aired Wednesday, November 24th, 1948.
Chandu the Magician. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wednesday and every weekday evening, the makers of White King granulated soap bring you the thrilling story of Chandu the Magician. But before our tale of magic and mystery resumes, may we say about the magic rule of 3 for washing dishes. If you believe, as many thousands of homemakers do, that nothing equals rich, thick, sudsy soap suds for washing dishes 3 times a day, remember these 3 things. First, you want a soap that makes plenty of rich, thick suds. White King is the soap for suds. Every tiny granule of soap goes to work making suds. And those White King suds stand up in water that feels comfortable to your hands. Second, you want a soap dishes that washes sparkling bright. When you follow a White King dishwashing with a hot water rinse, your dishes are left so very clean, so very bright, you can dry them in a jiffy. And third, you want a soap that is easy on your hands. Those gentle White King suds are wonderfully kind to pretty hands. For washing clothes or dishes, we know you'll love the soap we make. Yes, you'll love White King. In the underground room of the forbidding Balkan castle, lighted only by the green flame on the pagan altar of black magic, Frank Chandler summons all his occult powers to release Bob Regent from the dark enchantment of the diabolical Prince Dmitri. But meanwhile, Dorothy and Betty discover that within moments, the rooms upstairs have been ransacked and left in chaos, as if by a malicious spirit. The shadowy hall seems empty, but far down its gloomy length, Dorothy catches a glimpse of two gleaming eyes, like those of an enormous cat. It is now a moment later. Chandler and Bob are at the top of the hidden stairway leading to the portrait gallery. Chandu, the Magician.
Wait a minute, Uncle Frank. Aren't you going to close the stairway door?
Not now, Bob. Come on. As soon as your mother knows you're all right again, I'm going back down there.
For Pete's sake, why?
To destroy the forces that have haunted this hilltop for 20 centuries.
But I thought you did that when you and Dimitri battled it out down there.
This goes back long before Dimitri's time, Bob.
Well, you won't hear me say I'm going with you this time. I hope I never have to see that room again as long as I live.
You won't.
Oh, it was like a nightmare. I knew I was telling you off, acting like a dead-end kid, but I couldn't help it.
It's over now, Bob. Forget it.
Boy, I sure hope so. Mom, you look like you'd seen a ghost. It's okay now.
That's what you think.
Well, it is, too. You should have seen Uncle Frank give Dimitri the business.
Dorothy, what are you staring at?
Gone. But it was there just now.
Now, don't tell me Dimitri's got you going around in circles.
Mother, maybe it was Dimitri you saw.
It can't be Dimitri. You're imagining things, and no wonder.
It would take more than imagination to make me forget the way Bob looked down there, Frank. Is he really free of that awful thing?
It's all over, Dot. Now, what's going on up here?
Just look in your room, Uncle Frank.
My room? Well, I thought you said...
And Mother's room's just as bad. Look.
Holy Moses. Something sure tore it apart.
And whatever it was, it's still up there.
There's nothing supernatural, Dot. You know that.
I don't know what to think.
Well, spooks don't go around tearing beds to pieces and throwing clothes around.
Oh, I know it wasn't a ghost. I'm not that silly. But, Frank, I saw its eyes.
And Mother's emerald ring is gone, Uncle Frank. The one you brought her from India.
What? It can't be.
But it is.
Well, you'll probably find it when you straighten up your room.
I left it on the dressing table, and it's not there.
And this isn't the work of a thief, but Jew. He just happened to see the ring and...
Who? You sound like you knew who it was.
I think I know what he wanted. Dot, where did you see this fellow?
Clear down at the end of the hall. It didn't look like a man at all.
Huh?
I was going to Betty's room to see if
Come on. Show me where he was.
It must have been at the very end of the hall. But, Frank, you know I wasn't down in the cellars more than a few minutes.
But before that, Bob and Betty had been down there for almost an hour.
Well, that's right. And you were in the bova. There, Frank. Those eyes must have been right there, about this far from the floor. Cat's eyes.
Some cat 3 feet high. You know what? If I'd kept that room, I might have seen the castle ghost.
And if you... What do you mean, kept it?
Well, you know, Bets. I was going to sleep in there, and then Uncle Frank...
There's someone in there, all right.
Uncle Frank, you locked all these doors.
There's a key in the lock.
A lot of good it did to dump all those keys in the chest downstairs.
It's the dwarf.
A ring, eh? But who could be in there with him?
Stand still. I'm going to open the door just a crack. Be quiet now.
How cold it is in this accursed country. Always araignée live where the sun shines.
Can you see who he's talking to, Frank?
No, I can't.
And now he must freeze himself in this so terrible country where it is never warm.
He's sitting all doubled up in a big chair turned toward the window.
How could Araignée know when he have said he would come here that he will freeze himself?
For Pete's sake, the other guy must be deaf and dumb.
Now they have returned, and I still have not found it. Oh, what shall I do?
I don't think there's anyone with him. He's talking to himself. I'll go in. Well, Araignée.
Chandu!
Dot, shut the door quick.
Tiens! The sister of Chandu, who did not see Araignée in the dark cellar, twisting the water pipe over her head.
Stop that.
Oh, it was.
Stay where you are, Araignée. I said stay where you are.
He really does look like a spider.
Mademoiselle, you cannot speak like
Araignée,
that.
give me my sister's ring.
I have no ring. I came into this castle only to be warned. warm. See, the snow on the window.
Don't give us that, you little shrimp.
I want that ring now, or you'll wish you'd never touched it.
I say I do not know of this ring.
It is an emerald, a great carved emerald from the secret places of India. Do you know what it can do to the fingers of a thief?
I am not a thief.
The emerald will cling to your fingers so you cannot let it go. Everywhere men will look at its green fire and say, it does not belong to him. There goes a thief. Give it to me now.
Take it.
That's better. Pick it up, Bob.
Here you are, Mom.
She'll never want to wear it again now.
Of course I will.
I'd better pick him up and shake him. No telling what else he has in his pockets.
You are the son of Robert Regent, on whom be 10,000 curses.
Listen, you little shrimp.
All right, Irene. Let's have it. What do you want here?
No. I do not want to be here. I will be glad when I have returned to Cairo, where a man may sit in the sun and be warm.
A man.
Betty, don't, dear.
I know you shot the king, Irene. So even Roxor can't save you now.
Roxar is pleased. Pavel is dead.
Hey, don't you know Roxor fell in a well in Malta and was drowned?
Imbecile, no. Of course he did not.
We have news for you.
Betty, Roxor is...
Mother! Uncle Frank, what makes you think so?
Not now, Betty. Well, Irene?
Araignée the spider is not tall like other men. He cannot fight in battles. He cannot love a woman. She only laughs at him. But in the small hands of Araignée, a pistol can bring a king to Araignée's feet.
I never heard anything so appalling.
So it was your own idea, shooting the king.
Mais oui, it was mine. The strong one was in a rage.
I know, because it happened too soon.
Who does he mean?
Jan Metzels.
Even Dimitri, I was like a tiger when he knew of it. But Pavel Karavitz was dead.
But still, you stayed on in the country.
Because you are here. Roxor knows it now. He knows you have the secret.
Are you still talking about that formula of my father's?
Yeah, because if you are, it's in Egypt. What's so funny?
He doesn't mean the formula. Do you, Irene?
Zit! I will not speak again, no.
But why? You don't often have the opportunity to tell anyone about your cleverness. Roxor must think a great deal of you, to trust you with such an important errand. He could have sent a great husky man like Jan Metzels, or a brilliant, handsome one like Dimitri. Instead, he chose you, Irene.
For Pete's sake, Uncle Frank, what's going on?
Oui, c'est ça, it is true.
Perhaps I've been mistaken in you, Irene, thinking too little of your ability.
Yes. I am more necessary to Roxar than all his tall men. I have told you this, Chandu.
Yes, I should have listened more carefully. What have you been looking for?
Not the emeralds of Madame. I saw it, flashing like a flame in the light of my candle. In Paris, I could sell it for 50,000 francs.
So you took it, naturally.
Mais oui, but it is nothing. I have taken also from the room of Mademoiselle this.
My Egyptian necklace. That Naji gave me. It came out of a pyramid.
Chandu will say it is for me to keep.
He will not. Give it here, Renier.
Oh, it is ancient. It will bring me more money than the emerald.
Betty, come over here a moment, dear.
Look here, you little goon. If you don't...
Let him alone, Bob. Now, Irene.
Darling, don't you see what Uncle Frank's trying to do? Keep still.
Madame is whispering about me. I know it.
Ladies always have small secrets, Irene. A clever man like you knows that.
Madame shall tell me what she said.
Tell him, darling.
Why, I was just saying...
Oh, Mother, I can't help it. I can't bear to have him handling my necklace. He spoiled it for me forever.
Oh,
C'est ça, huh? The daughter of Robert Regent hates Araignée the spider, huh?
Listen, Irene.
No, I will not listen. You have the secrets. But I will find them. I will come and go in the night while you sleep.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Dot, you and Betty go back to your room.
I will follow you up and down the dark stairs.
Oh, Uncle Frank.
I'll hold him, Dot. Go on.
Quick, Betty.
Now what, Uncle Frank?
We'll lock him in here until I...
Araignée cannot be locked away from the secrets.
Hold still, you...
No.
Gosh, he got out of that room at Naji's.
Ahmed, let him out. He won't get out of here until I'm ready to let him go.
When I have found the secrets, I will go. but you will stay to look into the face of death. May we, you, all of you.
And now, before we say goodnight, Chandu the Magician has a gift for all you ladies listening. The gift of a helpful wash book prepared for you by the makers of White King soap. The name of this book is Washing Made Easy, and it is yours for the asking in exchange for just one White King soap box top. Washing Made Easy is written just like a cookbook. It gives you exciting rules for every type of wash and rest day problem. It tells you how exactly much soap to use, how to overcome hard water problems, how to use and care for your automatic washing machine. And now this White King wash book is yours as a gift from Chandu the Magician in exchange for one White King soap box top mailed to Chandu, Los Angeles 21. If you are wash day problems, send in the questions you would like answered by White King's staff of wash day experts. Mail in your questions and your White King soap box top to Chandu, Los Angeles 21. And remember, nothing washes like soap, and there is no soap like White King. Chandu the Magician is produced and directed by Cyril Armbruster. The part of Araignée the Spider is played by Rolf Sedan. The makers of White King invite you to listen tomorrow at this time when the story resumes. Chandu the Magician.
You're listening to KPNL Radio, Portland, Oregon.
Easily think Robert had sent me his notes.
I don't see why.
I don't think he would unless the experiment was finished. And then only because...
Robert would tell you if it was. He'd want to go home.
You'd think so. At any rate, he hasn't sent them, so we needn't worry about that.
Gosh, I wonder where they really are.
Daddy hid them, I bet. Don't you think, Uncle Frank?
I hope so. Dot, I ought to go down to the consulate before I do anything else.
So take Rainier with you to the police.
I'm not through with him yet myself. I want to know about Mason's heard from Washington. He must have cabled them about Mezzo's death.
Holy Moses. Mezzo's dead?
Well, didn't I tell you, Dot?
Why, no.
Oh, that's right. Now, when I came back here, you said Betty and Bob were gone, and then... Well, it happened before I could stop him.
Dimitri?
No, it was Lupu.
Honestly? But he's so nice, and he's always laughing, and... Well, he doesn't seem like he'd kill anybody.
No, I don't know, Bets. You saw him throw his knife at Nicky that night in the mountains.
What a dreadful thing. And Mr. Mezzo's guards caught him.
No, he was gone in a flash. He could be miles away in the mountains by this time. I doubt if I'll ever see Lupu again.
The soldiers will go after him, won't they?
Well, I hope they never catch him.
Oh, Bob.
Well, Mr. Mezzo's killed Lupu's brother, didn't he?
Bob, what do you think the world would be like if every man took the law into his own hands?
Well, that's what Mr. Mezzo's did. And I don't mean just Lupu's brother, either. He was always having people shot just because they wouldn't go along with him. Now, didn't he?
Yes, and he's not the only one. But that doesn't make it right.
I know that.
They won't get away with it forever, you know.
But look at Roxor. He's sure getting away with it all the
Uncle
time.
Frank, you didn't tell us what made you think Roxor's alive.
Your mother will tell you. I really must go.
Oh, Frank, where did you put the key to the room where Rainier is?
It's right here in my pocket. Oh, I forgot this.
Oh, it's that black magic image.
It's harmless now, Betty. You needn't be afraid of it anymore.
Just the same, I don't want it in here.
Well, I'll put it in my room. Well, it's on.
The head unscrews.
The whole thing's hollow. Well...
Is there something in there, Uncle Frank?
There is indeed. Paper. And not ordinary paper, either.
What do you suppose... Frank, what does it say?
Well, it says, Brothers, the place of the falcon. The clock strikes 5. It's written in English.
What's so funny about that?
Well, I was expecting to see something from ancient Egypt or India.
It might just as well be. It doesn't mean anything.
Frank, could it have anything to do with your brotherhood?
No. The place of the falcon.
At 5 o'clock. It's a date.
Yeah, but not at 5 o'clock. That's a code phrase.
Huh?
I'm sure of it. The place of the falcon. The clock strikes 5.
How about that kid of Esteban's? Mr. Mezzo's.
Now, Metzos didn't know anything about Dimitri's black magic, though. By George, Rainier knows, though.
Hey, maybe that's what he was yelling about.
Yes. And this time he's going to tell me what he knows.
I have said 1,000 times, I do not know Chandu. Open the door so I can go away.
Where is the place of the falcon?
If I tell you, will you let me go?
Where is it?
It is a small cafe in Istanbul, in a dark street where great fat Turks wait with knives to kill strangers. You see, you could not go there.
I see you are lying.
No, open the door. Vraiment, it is in Istanbul, as I have said.
A cafe named the Falcon in Istanbul?
Mais oui, but I do not know why it is called.
I want the truth. Now.
Araignée is not told all these things.
Very well. I'll just light this candle.
You will not burn, Araignée.
Savagery seems to be the only thing you understand. I'm not going to burn you. Look into the candle flame.
Pourquoi?
You'll see. Look, I say. Look. I will know what I need to know.
Mon Dieu! The sound! I will not listen! I will go away from this place!
Look into the flame, Araigné. The jungle of Africa. Do you know it, Araigné?
Make it go away!
Look at the clearing in the heart of the jungle. Listen. A witch doctor standing beside an open grave. The jungle men were angry, Araigné. Look.
Servir le demain! The hour of blood!
You were to be sacrificed to the angry jungle gods. But you have learned nothing. When will you learn, Araigné, not to serve the plans of evil men? Shall I send you back to the jungle?
No, jamais, je vous en prie. I have escaped them.
You will go back unless you tell me what I must know. Look, Araigné, the door of the hut is opening.
No.
Will you look into the face of Damballa himself?
Damballa, no! Not Chandu! I will tell to les choses!
Tell me. Tell me now.
Uncle Frank.
Not now, Bob. Go away.
Mom said to come and tell you.
Well, hurry up then. What is it?
There's a whole flock of gypsies out in front of the castle.
Well, it must be Lupu.
No, it isn't. And it's not those people we were with in the mountains. We don't know any of them.
Well, ask them what they want. I'll be down in a minute.
They want to see you. Mom's scared to death.
All right, I'll come. But I'll be right back, Araigné. In 5 minutes.
Chandu! Do not leave Araigné in this place! No, do not leave me! La femme! La femme!
What was it that frightened your mother, Bob?
Well, because they wouldn't go away, I guess. The guy that came to the door just wouldn't take no for an answer.
Did you let him in?
He wouldn't come in unless he saw you. But he wouldn't go away either. He sure acted funny.
Where is your mother? In her room?
Yeah. Who do you think they are?
Well, if Lupu didn't send them, I can't imagine. Good afternoon.
Dobre den pan. You are Pan Chandler?
Yes?
My sister has message for you. For you alone from the far mountain.
Your sister?
I know, Pan. She is there in my wagon.
Well, ask her to come in.
Come in, sister.
Well, there's a message from Lupu.
Maybe it is Lupu. Dressed up like a girl. You can't tell who it is with that shawl pulled over her face.
No, it's not Lupu. She's much too short.
Go in, sister. I will wait.
Who's your message from?
Look out, she hasn't got a knife stashed away in all those skirts.
If she has, she's it.
Huh?
Won't you? Don't you know her yet? Naji, come in.
Before we ring down the curtain on Chandu the Magician for tonight, may we ask you ladies an important question? Would you like to know how to overcome hard water problems? How to use and care for your automatic washing machine? Then send right now for White King's brand new wash book entitled Washing Made Easy. It is a gift to you from Chandu in exchange for just one White King soap box top. Washing Made Easy was compiled by White King's own staff of wash day experts. They made thousands and thousands of calls on you homemakers throughout the West to discover just what your washing problems really were. And we will mail you this wonderful White King wash book post-paid if you will mail in one White King soap box top, Chandu, Los Angeles 21. Do you have any special wash day problems? Then let White King's staff of wash day experts answer them for you. Send your questions and your White King soap box top to Chandu, Los Angeles 20.
You're listening to KPNL Radio, Portland, Oregon.
Brought to you by Mac and Mind Software and your donations. You're listening to ABN, the Antioch Broadcasting Network, serving listeners on the internet and community radio stations with a variety of old-time radio. Visit radio.macandmind.com for more information. We now present Spy Stories on ABN, the Antioch Broadcasting Network. Here's an episode of The Man Called X, which originally aired Sunday, March 14th, 1948, 73 years ago today.
You're twice as sure with two great names, Frigidaire and General Motors. Frigidaire presents Herbert Marshall as the Man Called X. Wherever there is mystery, intrigue, romance, in all the strange and dangerous places of the world, there you will find the Man Called X. And now Frigidaire presents Herbert Marshall as Ken Thurston, the Man Called X.
Well, you might as well sit down and take it easy, Ken. Unless the Bureau's called in on it, our hands are tied. Not a thing we can do.
Yeah, I know, Chief. $2 million worth of radium. And somewhere between here and Manila, the stuff's going to be hijacked. I'm sure enough to bet on it.
What time's the plane scheduled to leave, Ken?
Around 5:30 this afternoon. It's a charter line, so they don't have any set schedule.
And you say there'll be other passengers besides this Don Louis Roof?
Sure, 3 or 4 already. The flight's wide open for anybody who wants to buy a ticket. They're not even using a private plane.
Oh, yeah. You'd think anybody with enough ability to run the radium supply agency would have the intelligence to realize what a chance he's taking.
Dr. Mosley, it's not his intelligence, Chief, it's his attitude. He feels we're unduly alarmed.
Oh.
Of course, his responsibility is finished as soon as he turns the stuff over to Don Louis here in New York.
And Don Louis doesn't want any protection either, eh?
Considers it an insult to suggest it.
I suppose you told Mosley about
Chief, I used every argument I could think of. I told him that in spite of his secrecy, the whole underworld knows about the shipment. That Mr. Coco, the smartest international crook in the world, is supposed to be here in New York right now, and for one reason, to swipe that radium.
Mr. Coco.
I told him. Oh, well, what's the use?
I know how you feel, Ken, but unless they call us in, it's simply not our job.
If this thing were a private deal, I'd say, all right, let them pay for their cockiness, but it isn't. This shipment's being donated to the clinic by public subscription, money kicked in by hundreds of citizens here as well as in the islands. They wanted to go where it'll do some good. And I hate to see people like that let down.
I can't see them. Well, how we can. Pardon me. Hello? Oh, put him on. Yes, that's right. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Why, of course, we'd be glad to. Right, Ken Thurston. We'll take over immediately. Goodbye.
What's up, Chief?
That was Don Louis Roof, the man from the Commonwealth Clinic.
Uh-huh.
Somebody tried to tap his phone line at the hotel. Now he's plenty worried.
Wait, you mean?
That's right, Ken. He's yelling for help.
Good. That's all we need, Chief. We're in it.
Mr. Pagan Zellschmidt, Esquire. Who's talking, please?
Is this the Zellschmidt who's a friend of Ken Thurston, the Man Called X?
Huh? I mean, most likely you have the wrong number. I never even heard of anybody like that. Hmm?
If you're the right guy, I'm ready to send you $100 by messenger.
So I'm very sorry.
Zellschmidt, I want you to take a message to Mr. X. Tell him if he wants to go on living, he'd better keep his nose out of this radium deal. Otherwise, my agents would be forced to eliminate him. Got it?
Right. I shall go find him immediately. As soon as the money gets here, of course.
You'll go now. Get the money later. Apparently, you don't realize who you're talking to.
As a matter of fact, I don't think I've had the pleasure, Mr.
I'm sometimes known as Mr. Coco.
But this fellow is a very dangerous character, Mr. Thurston. If you get to this plane, maybe he's going to bump you off. Then what?
In that case, Pagan, you'll have to carry on by yourself.
Well, I would be only too glad... Huh? I'm not going. As a matter of fact, I just this minute remembered an appointment or something.
It's probably that $100. You'll be in seat 5, Pagon. I've already bought your ticket.
But...
Pagon, you wouldn't let a close friend go into danger by himself now, would you?
No, wouldn't I? Mr. Thurston, I only came to warn you. This Mr. Coco is not only a criminal crook, but he's also a very tough cookie. And he means business.
Then if he gets us, we'll go together. Friends to the last.
Oh, don't say such things.
I beg your pardon, gentlemen.
Huh?
Since we seem to be fellow passengers, permit me to introduce myself. I am working for Baron Wolf service.
Hi, Baron. My name's Ken Thurston. This is Mr. Zellschmidt.
Gentlemen, I wonder if either of you knows the reason for this delay. We should have departed 3 minutes ago.
I believe they're waiting for another passenger, Senor Ruff from Manila.
Highly inconsiderate of him. We should have been here on time.
You seem to be in a pretty big hurry to get to San Francisco. Are you going on business?
Oh, not at all. I do not engage in business, Mr. Thurston. I find the income from my baronial estate quite adequate.
You're lucky.
Oh, just say. We're being honored. Here comes the princess.
Princess? Friend of yours?
Oh, I met her a few minutes ago and found her most charming.
Yeah, you can tell that from here.
Pardon me, Baron Wolf. Do you know why we are being held up?
Oh, there's another passenger, so Mr. Thurston tells me. Princess Katushka, allow me to present Mr. Ken Thurston and Mr. Zellschmidt.
I am honored. You going on this plane, too?
I am, at any rate. Mr. Zellschmidt isn't quite sure yet.
Never any question. Oh, Princess.
Along with Senor Ruff, then, we seem to be the passenger list. Is that right?
Oh, there's one man already on board, I'm told. His name is David.
He's been asleep in his seat ever since he got there. He snores most dreadfully. Well, I think I'll go on board.
I will come with you, if I may.
Hope we see a lot more of each other, Mr. Thurston, during the trip.
Oh, yes, I'm sure of it.
Yeah?
Then, for the present, au revoir.
See you on board, gentlemen.
Mr. Thurston, I'm like a new man. Recapitulated, huh? What a luscious little chipmunk.
Chipmunk, eh? It could be. At any rate, she's probably not the Princess Katushka.
You mean she's only pretending to... Hey, what's all this?
Probably our prize package, complete with police escort. Yep, here comes Don Louis now. Pagon, take a good look at that briefcase. It's worth a couple of $1 million.
Good evening, Mr. Thurston. Sorry to be late, but we were delayed by traffic. You know Dr. Mosley, of course.
Yeah, of course. How are you, Doctor? No trouble so far, then?
Not a bit, Mr. Thurston. In fact, I'm inclined to believe the incident at Senor Ruff's hotel was pure coincidence. Had nothing at all to do with the radium shipment.
Well, that's possible. Shall we go aboard, Senor Ruff?
I wish you the best of luck, Don Louis. It's been a pleasure to deal with you, sir.
Sorry you're not going with us, Dr. Mosley. We have some pretty unusual people on board. I doubt there'll be a dull moment on the whole trip.
Mr. Thurston, looks like we're going to land. What is this place, anyway?
Kansas City, Pagon. Probably stopping for gas and a quick check over.
Did you say Kansas City, Mr. Thurston?
That's right, Princess.
Yes, quite a cattle industry here, I understand.
You interested in cattle, Baron?
Only in a general way, Mr. Thurston. I have a large number on my estate, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Which reminds me, maybe I could get a hamburger here someplace if I had some money, of course.
No question about it, Pagon, if you had some money, of course.
Oh, well, doesn't matter. Or all, I did have some to eat yesterday. Small crust of dry bread, as I remember. Or was remember the day before yesterday.
All right, here. Buy yourself a sack full of hamburgers. And while you're at it, send this wire to the chief.
Mr. Thurston, I'm stricken with gratitude. I shall do it immediately.
Well, wait till we land.
Huh? Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, Mr. Thurston. What is this? We're landing?
That's right, Don Louis. Short stop at Kansas City. You had quite a sleep.
Well, you may consider that an indication of my confidence in you, Mr. Thurston. I felt most secure.
Thanks. That's more than I feel.
Something's happened?
Not a thing. That's what bothers me.
Well, they seem to have arrived. Part of the trip's over, at any rate. I hope you're not too disappointed at the lack of trouble so far, Mr. Thurston.
Not disappointed. A surprise.
This is Kansas City. We'll be here about an hour, so you'll have plenty of time to get out and walk around.
What's the trouble, pilot? How come an hour?
I'm only the co-pilot, mister. The home office radioed to us to wait here for another passenger. Coming in on the commercial liner from New York.
Oh? Yeah, wait. Aren't you Pete Colon?
Yeah. You read the news, too, huh?
Well, you did get quite a lot of publicity.
Papers, too. Why not?
when an heiress makes the kind of claim she did. Said I married her for her money, threatened her life, had homicidal tendencies and a criminal mind. Who wouldn't get publicity?
Yeah, I guess you've got something there. Well, Don Louis, like to get out, take a walk?
It's an excellent idea.
Maybe somebody ought to wake up Mr. Davis. Might want a hamburger or something.
It's amazing. Except for the little time at Cleveland, the man has slept through this entire trip.
Oh, perhaps I'd better tell me we've landed. Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis.
Remarkable accomplishment, being able to sleep that soundly.
Hey, heavens.
What is it?
Man isn't asleep. He's dead.
Look, Mr. Thurston, here comes your friend now. Apparently he hasn't deserted after all.
Hello, Mr. Thurston.
Pagon, what the Sam Hill have you got in all those paper bags?
Oh, hamburgers.
Well, you only had $5. Must have taken most of that for the telegram.
Oh, that I sent it collect. Here.
No, thanks.
Go ahead. I've got plenty of them. Have one. 25, in fact. I thought I might get hungry in the plane, you understand?
I see.
Mr. Thurston, do you think we'll be held here because of Mr. Davis's death?
No, Don Louis, we'll probably take off right away. Our new passenger was supposed to be on that liner that came in a few minutes ago.
What do you think was the matter with him, Miss Thurston? His heart, maybe?
No, Pagan. I think he was poisoned.
What? But you mean because of this?
That's right, Don Louis. Because of what's in that briefcase. Davis was the crook who used to run the Christmas gang. I recognized him in New York.
But he never even glanced at it all during the trip.
Hadn't got around to making his pay yet. But somebody on board decided to cut down the competition. Poisoned him.
Oh? What's this about someone being poisoned, Mr.
Oh, Baron. I was telling Senor Roof that the late Mr. Davis was undoubtedly poisoned.
But that's so silly. Who could have done it?
Any number of people. Our co-pilot, Pete Colon, filled the water bottle at Davis's seat. I believe he had a drink with you, Baron, when we stopped in Cleveland. And I saw him eat some candy mints that you gave him, Princess Katushka.
But there was no reason. None of us even knew the man.
Not Princess.
Mr. Thurston, here comes somebody. Maybe the new passenger, huh?
Yeah, I guess. Well, this is quite a surprise, Dr. Mosley.
Hello, Mr. Thurston. Don Louis.
Mr. Mosley.
I suppose this does seem a bit foolish, but I found your apprehension contagious and decided to come along in Francisco as far as I caught the next. Oh, well, hello there.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, sorry, you don't know these people, do you? Princess Katushka, Baron von Wolf, Dr. Mosley.
But I.
How do you do, Dr. Mosley?
A pleasure, Princess Katushka. Well, I'd better get aboard. I've delayed you enough already.
Perhaps we should all get aboard.
An excellent suggestion, Don Louis, unless you object to traveling with a poisoner. That's according to Mr. Thurston's theory, of course.
Matter of fact, Princess Katushka, I've got more than one theory.
Really? Such as?
Well, one of them is that you may be the Princess Katushka, and again, you may not.
How interesting.
And as far as Baron von Wolf's concerned, I seem to remember a celebrated jewel theft in London some years ago. The defendant used that name.
A remarkable coincidence. However, we do seem to have a certain advantage over you, Mr. Thurston.
How's that?
Because I am quite sure that all of us are aware of your real identity, Mr. Coco.
And now to continue with Frigidaire's Man Called X, starring Herbert Marshall. Mr. X has watched the briefcase of radium like a hawk ever since the plane left New York. But so far, no direct attempt has been made to steal it. Right now, the plane is making a brief stop in Denver, Colorado.
Hello, Mr. Thurston. Hey, what happened to Senor Rupp?
Nothing's happened to him, Pagon. He's sitting over there on that station bench, exactly 31 feet away. Why?
Oh, nothing. Except I always become very uncomfortable when I get close to a couple of $1 million. Here's a telegram from the chief.
How do you know who it's from?
I'm very glad you mentioned that, Mr. X. You see, it's the humidity. The envelope came unstuck.
I see, Keep an eye on Don Louis for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Height about 5'6", age 37, dark complexion, black curly hair. teeth, no visible fillings. Weighs somewhere
But,
near
Mr.
140 pounds.
There is nobody on board like that.
Yeah, so I've noticed.
Look, somebody's talking to Don Louis.
Yeah, Dr. Mosley.
Now he's picking up the briefcase and setting it down again. What is he trying to do anyhow?
Hard to tell, Pagan.
Attention, all passengers from charter plane to San Francisco, please come aboard.
Come on, Pagan.
Oh, maybe I should have stayed in New York. Only when I saw that princess, what's her name, how could I know she was only a cold fish?
Cold fish? Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. Well, Dr. Mosley, you practicing weightlifting?
Thurston. I didn't hear you come up. I was just telling Don Louis here, this briefcase must get pretty heavy. All the lead shielding in it, you know.
Yeah, I suppose it does.
Yeah, well, I was just going to carry it to the plane for Don Louis.
Oh, I wouldn't think of letting you go to all that trouble, Dr. Mosley. Here. I'll be only too happy to carry it. Shall we go, gentlemen?
Where do you think we're now, Mr. Thurston?
I don't know exactly, Pagan. We're out of the Rockies. Somewhere over the desert, I guess.
And the next stop, San Francisco. Ha! Not only this Mr. Coco doesn't show up himself, but he doesn't even have any agents like he said he did. Strictly one big bluff.
Thought you'd all like to know we're running dead into a pretty bad storm. Gonna bear off south and try landing at Rock Rim Emergency Field.
Oh, Mr. Colon.
Yeah, Mr. Thurston, what's on your mind?
I was wondering why we didn't wait this out of Denver instead of heading on into it.
Would have if we'd known about it. This one came up unexpectedly.
Now, Mr. Colon.
Yeah?
I happened to see a copy of that storm warning the field dispatcher handed you in Denver. I'd hardly call this unexpected.
Good heavens! You can't see anything in this dust. We'll get lost. We better stop.
Car, the building's over this way.
Oh.
If I know anything about the desert, there'll be a rain behind this wind.
Oh, it's a very good thing I bought those hamburgers in Kansas City. Ha! 14 left. Maybe I can make a little profit on it.
Here, over this way. Here's the door to the field office.
Ah, detestable climate, I must say.
Nothing like it on your estate, Baron.
There's shelter, at least. That's a relief.
Hurry up, everybody inside. Want to keep the sand out.
Isn't there anyone here? Place seems deserted.
Yeah, it does. Oh, hello. A note from the attendant here on the desk.
Yeah.
In event of any plane being forced down here, entire facilities are at the disposal of the personnel. I intend to be gone 3 days, servicing flight beacons on the mountain range at the west.
There seem to be bunk rooms of some sort along the hall back here. Probably living quarters in the rear, there usually are. Uh-oh, the phone's dead.
Oh, there's a rather nice lounge.
Well, whatever it is, it calls for the knocks like it. We're stuck here until morning at least. 8 people and $2 million. This might turn out to be quite a night.
Oh, would anybody like to buy a nice hamburger? Only 75 cents.
What's the matter, Princess? Insomnia?
Oh, you startled me, Mr. Thurston. I didn't see anyone sitting there.
You may as well make it Ken, since we've come this far together. Sit down.
All right. Ken,
Of course, that leaves me still wondering what to call you.
you still think I'm an imposter, don't you?
Aren't you?
No more than you are.
Touche. I suppose our little friends are all tucked in safely.
I guess so. Rather surprised at you letting Don Louis out of your sight. You followed him around like a shadow.
With good reason for it. Well, of course, you know about that.
I can guess. Ken, why do you dislike me so much?
I don't. I've been avoiding you because I think you're dangerous. There's a big difference there.
Dangerous, Ken? In what way?
Well, the way you said that, for one thing. And the way you're looking right now.
How am I looking?
Let's say, desirable. That covers a lot of ground.
I don't go so much for just looking, Ken.
No more do I.
Where do we go from here?
San Francisco.
Oh, that's for tomorrow. How about tonight?
Tonight? That settles that question.
Ken, those were gunshots.
That's right, baby. No, you stay where you are.
Mr. Thurston, that noise. Oh, it woke me up. What happened?
I think it's a safe bet that somebody shot somebody.
Yeah, well, but we've got to do something. Where'd it come from, and who was it?
I believe I can answer that question, Dr. Mosley. Please stand where you are, Mr. Colon.
Don Louis.
Well, Colin, that's quite an arm you've got on you.
I don't think he's wounded seriously, Mr. Thurston. I'm something of an expert with a pistol.
How did it happen, Don Louis?
I woke up to find Mr. going through my colon luggage. Since he had a knife, there was no other choice than to shoot him.
Well, it's fortunate you woke up. Otherwise, he'd have had the briefcase. It's too bad Mr. Thurston was so engrossed out here in the lounge.
Oh? I thought the shots woke you up.
Well, at least you weren't where you should have been, with Don Louis.
No. No more was the briefcase.
Oh, that's right.
Where is it?
Under those cushions there. You've been sitting on it for the last 5 minutes.
Oh?
Since I was quite sleepy, Mr. Thurston was kind enough to take over my responsibility for a time.
Mr. Thurston's well known on 2 continents for that sort of kindness, Don Louis.
Hello, Baron. You always wake up with a brandy bottle in your hand?
Oh, it's so much excitement. I thought a drink might be in order. I've even found glasses. How about one all around?
Excellent suggestion.
You can count me in.
Well, there we are.
Just a moment.
Mr. Thurston, what's that gun for?
Suppose we wait for our host to drink first. Well, Baron?
All right, put that gun on them. We can make a deal, Mr. Coco.
Coco? But Mr. Thurston is the man called X.
Mister.
The Baron's been under a misapprehension, and I'll take that bottle now. I think it'll probably hang you, Baron Wolf, for the murder of a man named Davis.
But, Mr. Thurston, think of the humiliation for the honorable name of Zelschmidt. Traveling up here with all these bad characters, and your gun pointed at my back. Why can't I sit with you and Don Louis?
Pagon, for all I know, you may be one of Mr. Coco's agents.
Mr. X, I swear by the father of my father...
skip it. Anyway, you're a petty profiteer. 75 cents for a stale hamburger. Stay right where you are.
How long will it be before we reach San Francisco, Mr. Thurston?
I'd say about half an hour, Don Louis. Plenty of time to make connections with the Clipper.
I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Thurston. As soon as I can get in touch with the proper authorities, you're going to be very sorry for this treatment.
What's wrong, Dr. Mosley? Aren't you comfortable?
Treated like a common criminal. A man of my position.
Relax, Doctor. Colin and the Baron are in a tougher spot than you are. They're not doing any scorking.
The stakes were big enough to take a chance, Thurston. When you lose, that's all.
Quite a philosophy. You and the Baron should have worked together. How do you feel about it, Princess?
I'm not a princess, and you know it. I showed you enough credentials to prove who I am.
Sure you did. Helen Bartlett, magazine feature writer. That was a new role, wasn't it?
It was not a role, it's the truth. I admit it was a fool idea, but I had to get an inside story on this radium deal some way. Dr. Mosley backs me up.
Yeah, I've noticed how willing both of you are to support each other's claims.
Now look here, Thurston.
You look here, Dr. Mosley. Thousands of people in this country kicked in money to send this radium to a Philippine hospital. All I care about is making sure it does go there. Compared to that, your little troubles don't mean very much. Is that clear?
Mr. X, do you think one of these suspects could be Mr. Coco, maybe?
Maybe.
Which one is it?
That's a good question, Pagon. Which one do you think it is?
Well, that looks familiar.
You mean the Clipper, Don Louis?
No, the wharf there. That's where I first landed, coming over from Manila.
Well, I guess we may as well see you aboard. And you ought to have a pretty quiet trip from here on.
Well, at any rate, Mr. Thurston, it's quite a relief to be vindicated finally and see the proper criminals put into custody.
Yeah, it's been quite an experience. From a dangerous femme fatale to a suspect to a bona fide magazine writer all overnight.
Helen, you'd be dangerous anyway.
But you still show me San Francisco tonight in spite of it. Won't you, Ken?
Well, here we are, Mr. Thurston.
Yeah. Nice view across the bay.
Yes, it is indeed. Now I may as well take the briefcase. Mr. Thurston, neither I nor my people can ever thank you enough for your protection on the trip from New York.
That's very generous of you, Don Louis. As I said before, my one interest in this affair is to make sure the radium gets to its destination. Those customs guards there, they have the same idea.
What? Why, those rifles are pointing at us.
Oh, no, not us. Every one of those rifles is pointed straight at you, Mr. Coco.
Huh?
I seem to have underrated you, Mr. Thurston. How did you find out?
Your gun first, please. Thanks. Well, it was your top coat. You threw it across a seat in the plane, and I happened to notice a label. Gonzalez, the tailor, Manila.
But Don Louis was from Manila.
Around
Yes.
it was a line of tiny pinpricks, where another label had been ripped out. So I wired the chief for a description of the real Don Louis roof. You didn't fit it, Mr. Coco.
But, Mr. Thurston, I dealt entirely with this man. He presented all the necessary credentials. What happened to the real Don Louis?
Well, Mr. Coco, any answer there? We'll find him, all right. And when we do, I think we'll find a few bullets fired from this gun. And that ought to make a pretty tight case.
Now that I come to think of it, Mr. Thurston, I thought this fellow's voice sounded familiar. Yeah, he's the one who called me on the phone.
Here, I'll have another hamburger.
Well, I don't mind if... Huh?
Well...
Yes, they're all such fools, Ken. But they never see it before it's too late.
Helen, any man's a fool when he sets himself against humanity. That's the real man without a country. If such there be, go mark him well. For him no music's raptures swell. As a fool he lives and blindly dies, finding death his only prize. It's a beautiful sunset there beyond the Golden Gate, except for one dark shadow from that rock on the right. Mr. Coco, that's the rock they call Alcatraz.
Frigidaire star, Herbert Marshall.
Being with us. Thanks. Next week, our story is called Run, Thief, Run. And rightly so, because there's plenty of action and suspense in it. As usual, there'll be Leon Belasco along as Pagon Zellschmidt. So join us, won't you, when next I return as the man called X. Good night.
Frigidaire's Man Called X is directed by Jack Johnstone, with music composed and conducted by Johnny Green. Tonight's story was written by Les Crutchfield. And so until next week, same time, same station, this is Wendell Niles speaking for Frigidaire, made only by General Motors. All characters and incidents used are fictitious, and any resemblance to actual persons or incidents is purely coincidental. Remember, every Thursday, for the best in entertainment, tune in and stay tuned in to CBS, the biggest show in town. CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
You just heard an episode of The Man Called X, which originally aired Sunday, March 14th, 1948, 73 years ago today. Stay tuned for Matinee Theater, next on ABN.
You're listening to KPNL Radio, Portland, Oregon.
Brought to you by Mac and Mind Software and your donations. You're listening to ABN, the Antioch Broadcasting Network, serving listeners on the Internet and community radio stations with a variety of old-time radio. Visit radio.macandmind.com for more information. We now present Matinee Theater on ABN, the Antioch Broadcasting Network. Here's an episode of Radio City Playhouse, which originally aired Monday, March 14th, 1949, 72 years ago today.
The National Broadcasting Company presents Radio City Playhouse, Attraction 29. Ladies and gentlemen, the director of Radio City Playhouse, Harry W.
Thank you,
Junkin.
Bob Warren. First of all, friends, a very, very sincere thank you for the many, many wonderful letters about last week's broadcast. It is very rewarding to know that thousands of you good people out there actually took the trouble to write us postcards and letters telling us you enjoyed our program. There are not many shows which have so many wonderful, loyal listeners. You have no idea how much we appreciate hearing from you. This week, we welcome a new author to Radio City Playhouse, Mr. Bill Devlin. His script is titled Weather Ahead and stars Joe DeSantis as Luke Kaplan. Most of you will remember Joe DeSantis for his remarkable performance some time ago in the Playhouse in a story called The Promise. Since that time, he has been making movies, and we're very happy to welcome him back to our show. Assisting him are Robert Clark and Donald Curtis, two extremely talented young actors whom we know you will want to hear again soon. Here, then, is Joe DeSantis in Weather Ahead by William Devlin, Attraction 29 on Radio City Playhouse.
My name is Luke Kaplan. I'm really a pretty kind sort of a Joe. The only thing wrong with me is my wife. She killed a man. I was in charge of the Regency Airlines emergency landing field near San Jose, Guatemala. It was a pretty out-of-the-way place, but that was all right with me. It was pretty wet, too. Once the rainy season starts down there, that's it. Herb Corella was my assistant. One of those wonderful, rare-type guys that, well, we got along fine. We spent most of our time in the flight control tower, looking out over the scrubby little field. There was just us and a few native maintenance men. The tower got kind of tiresome. It was about 12 feet square, rough wood, glass around the sides, a radio transmitter, phones, typewriter. Nothing very elaborate. And it rained and rained and rained. Herb was kind of funny about the rain. He liked it.
Luke, it's wonderful, isn't it?
What's wonderful?
The rain. Cool and clean and wonderful.
Yeah.
I always feel good when the rainy season starts.
There'll be 6 inches of water on that field in a week, and you're happy.
So the old shack will be washed away. What do we care?
Not much.
Now we can start drinking. No more flights in here for 3 months. Oh, you loving little raindrops, you.
And in a week, we'll be going nuts.
Not me. I don't care if we never see another plane.
Well, that's what you said last year.
Give me the rainy season every time. It's sack weather, kiddo. Sack weather.
How much sleep can a guy get?
What's the matter with you, Luke? I thought you were looking forward to it.
Well, I was. Now that it's here, I hate it.
Aren't you getting a bit temperamental?
Maybe.
Boy, really coming down.
Another 3 or 4 hours, and that field would be a swimming pool.
Yeah. Good night, I'll be glad to get away from here. You know, I thought this hitch would never end. Mind you, I'm not complaining. I don't mind the rain the way you do, but give me a job at Idlewater LaGuardia. Oh, brother.
This is
C428 calling San Jose Tower. C428 calling San Jose Tower. Over.
Pilot, that'd be off his nut. What's he calling us for? San Jose Tower calling C428. San Jose Tower calling C428, over.
Hello, Tower. Out of Tehuantepec, 10 minutes north of your station. Request weather. Over.
You don't have to request it. He's got it.
LC428, this field is closed. Repeat, this field is closed.
Tell him to come back next year when the plumbing's fixed.
San Jose Tower calling C428. What's your destination? Over.
San Jose Tower. Destination your field. Your field. Why are you closed?
Can you see storms to south of you?
Yes. To the southeast, it looks heavy.
Ceiling here is 0. Visibility 0. Heavy rain. Field still dry, but soaking fast. Suggest you fly over mountains and try Guatemala City. Over.
C428 calling San Jose Tower. Roger. Out.
Well, guess we got rid of him. Oh. Before we so rudely interrupted, I was a big shot at LaGuardia or Idlewild. Oh, brother, am I going to have fun in New York. Just 3 more months down here, and then boom, I'm gone. Just like that, I'm gone.
Be quite a change for you, Irv. After 2 years in this wilderness, you won't know how to act.
I'll learn. Wonder if the boss got someone to take my place.
Probably.
Yeah. Shanghaied some poor dope the way he did me. There I was, like a sparrow, enjoying New York life. He comes along with his fancy talk about the romantic tropics. Boy, are they romantic.
Well, I'll be sorry to see you leave, Irv.
Look, Jungle Jim, I'll be so glad to see your ugly puss for the last time. Yeah, I'll miss you, Luke.
Thanks.
Luke.
Yeah?
Luke, why are you staying? Why don't you get out?
I'm not planning to see New York again.
Luke, for 2 years, you've been on the verge of spilling the whole story to me. I know there's something funny. I know it's something about your wife, and, well, it's none of my business.
It isn't that I don't trust you, Irv. It's just...
Well, you talked a bit once when you're tight.
I did?
Yeah.
What did I say?
Not much. I know about your wife, that's all. I know she knocked off some guy.
Well, forget it.
Okay.
Just forget it.
Nobody blames you for getting drunk.
That's fine.
Why don't you tell me, Luke? I'm the guy that's been your pal for 2 years.
C428 calling San Jose Tower. C428 calling San Jose Tower. Over.
I thought we'd gotten rid of Superman here. San Jose Tower calling C428. San Jose Tower calling C428, over.
San Jose. They've developed roughness in one engine. Can't get altitude for the mountains. Over.
Tell them to try to pass.
Yeah. C428, there's a pass through the mountains if it isn't closed in with weather. It's on your map. Suggest you try it. Over.
Roger, San Jose. Thanks. Out.
Irv. What else did I say?
When?
When I was drunk.
Your name isn't Kaplan. It's Duncan. Luke Duncan.
Yeah?
Well, you asked me.
Go on.
Well, some guy named Anderson's looking for you. Has been for at least 4 years.
Go on.
He wants you for murder. He's an FBI boy.
Must have been very drunk.
Yeah, you were.
Can you help?
Maybe a little.
What else did I say?
Well, I gathered you married the wrong gal.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Irv, I saw her shoot a guy. I saw her stand there with a faint, sweet smile on her face and shoot a guy. You got a cigarette?
Yeah.
Thanks. Sometimes at night I dream about it. I can see her pulling the trigger, standing there smiling while this guy topples over and starts to bleed all over the broadroom. That's my wife, Irv. I didn't know her for very long before we were married. I just fell. Fell hard. You've never had that happen to you, have you, Irv?
No.
It's swell at the beginning. Then when you discover she knows some pretty shady characters, does a little dope peddling on the side. And you start finding out one thing after another that... Well, that convinces you once and for all that you married a It's pretty hard to take.
Yeah, I guess it is.
When I saw the way she... Oh, what's the use of talking about it?
Go on, Luke, go on. It'll do you good to talk about it.
She framed me at the trial. She and the hired toughs framed me for this murder rap. They sent me to Sing Sing. I got out. The other guys, me and made a break and managed to pull it off. They caught 6 of the others. I got away. I've been here ever since.
Oh, but surely, Luke, there's some way of proving that... Well, that you didn't do it. You can't hide out in this hole all your life. Look, I got a little money, Luke.
There's no use starting anything. Thanks for the offer, but there's no use.
But maybe I could help. I could try to find out...
No. No letters, nothing. They can trace the spit on the flap of an envelope. I'm not taking any chances. I'm alive and safe, and I'm fine. Just fine.
But, Luke, you can't stay here forever. It isn't so bad when you're 30, but you'll live to be 60.
If I stay here.
Oh, I think it's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It's a strange thing. The way you feel when you tried for a murder you didn't have anything to do with. It's real strange when you sit there and watch your wife weeping, sighing sometimes. The way she sighed when she killed a slug. And when they sentence you, it isn't strange anymore. It's a nightmare. You get all tied up with hate and fear and mostly hate.
Gee, Luke, I kind of wish I wasn't leaving. You may draw some jerk down here that'll get on your nerves and drive you out of your mind.
Yeah.
C428 calling San Jose Tower. Come in, Tower. Over.
San Jose Tower calling C428. Over.
Can't find that pass. Weather. What now?
They better turn around. They can't come in here. That's a cinch.
Yeah. C428, you'd better turn around and go back to Tehuantepec. Over.
We'll check engine and gas supply. Out.
Hey, that sounds like trouble. Better alert the crash truck.
Oh, it serves them right. Bothering us when we were having a real interesting conversation.
I don't think we ever had a conversation. Did we, Herb?
Maybe not. No. That's the way you want it.
Nuts.
What?
Siren don't work.
Oh, it never works when you need it. Must be the rain.
I'll go fix it. Only take a second.
Okay.
Get a clearance on them while we're waiting. I don't understand why we don't have one anyway.
Right. San Jose Tower calling C428. 428. Come in, C. Over.
C428 calling San Jose Tower. Come in.
We have no clearance on you, C428. Give me particulars.
Roger. Twin engine Beechcraft.
Twin engine Beechcraft.
Left Washington, D.C. Thursday. Brownsville, Texas. Through Veracruz. Tehuantepec to San Jose. Pilot Brown. Joseph Brown. Co-pilot Lewis. John Key. One passenger. Anderson. Robert H. Destination.
Hey, C428, you were cut off. C428. San Jose Tower calling C428. Come in, please. Over.
San Jose Tower. Never mind. Scratch passenger name. Out.
Scratch passenger? That guy crazy? Hey. Anderson. Holy suffering cow.
Boy, it sure is wet out. Siren's okay.
Huh?
The siren. Try it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That does it. Get the clearance?
Yeah.
Well, did you or didn't you?
Yeah, I got it.
What's the matter?
Nothing.
What are you looking like that for?
Luke, tell me. This guy. Well, it's been quite a while since the killing.
Let's skip it.
Well, yeah, but do you think this guy's still after you? I mean, maybe he's dead now or retired or something.
His kind don't die. And he'll never retire until he's found me.
What's his full name, remember?
Remember? It all over. I can see over. In cloud formations. In the jungle. Vines spelling it out. And there's a group of trees out there that spell his initials. R-H-A. Anderson. Robert Hauler Anderson.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He's on that plane.
He's what?
He's on that plane. The pilot let it slip and then tried to cover up.
Let me see that clearance.
Well, I guess that's why we didn't get a regular clearance.
Anderson. Robert H.
Well, maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe it isn't him at all.
When you find Robert Anderson and me in an out-of-weight joint like this, it's not coincidence.
C428 calling San Jose Tower. Come in, Tower. Over.
San Jose Tower calling C428. Come in. Over.
Running out of gas, Tower. Not enough to go back to Tehuantepec. How about Tapachula? Over.
Tapachula's under repair. You need a helicopter. Stand by, C428. We'll call back. Out. Luke, you're crazy. Breaking out of prison is like signing a confession.
Nuts. They dust off the chair every day waiting for me to come back.
I don't believe it. I just don't believe they convict innocent people of murder.
You don't, huh?
No, not in this day and age. The courts don't work that way.
You haven't been around much, have you, Irv?
Well,
You're a kid. 25, aren't you?
You know I'm 25.
Well, I'm 35. And I'm telling you it happens all the time. Maybe it's not so tough to take if you know you're guilty and they throw the book at you. But when you didn't do anything, and they sew you up on a tight little web of circumstantial evidence, when your wife lies and her friends lie, and finally the jury says you're guilty of murder in the first degree, then you start going crazy. You decide the whole...
I got to call that pilot.
The world's against Irv, I'm not taking any chances, not anymore.
But couldn't you appeal? With a real smart lawyer, you'd be able to do
I did
something.
appeal. We lost. I'm not going back and risk the chair for a murder I didn't have anything to do with. I'm back.
What are you going to do?
I don't know.
Take to the jungle?
It's not going... No. I don't know what I'll do. They just can't land here, that's all. They can't land.
They may have to land.
Then let them be.
We spent
out
5 weeks looking for them in the jungle and then find them all shrunken and ugly. Luke, they've got to come in here.
No.
Yes, Luke, I got to bring them in. If they want to land, I've got to try and bring them in.
We haven't the equipment. We can't. It's impossible.
San Jose Tower calling C428. Come in, C428, over.
C428 calling San Jose Tower. Come in, tower.
Weather here very bad. If you want to try an instrument landing, we'll do all we can to line you up with the runway.
Tower, that sounds risky to me. We can cruise economically for 30 minutes. How long will the rain last?
Listen to him.
The rain's here to stay. If you hit your tail to a cloud and hang on for around 6 weeks, it might break for 5 minutes. That's the score.
Okay, Tower. We'll pass as close to your field as we can at about 500 feet. Contact us then.
Roger, C428. Out.
Irv, they're not coming in.
Don't talk like that, Luke.
Well, look at it out there.
Well, if the pilot's real good... You afraid?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am.
Listen, you know the natives around here well enough to hide out in the jungle till they give up and go away.
I've been hiding for 4 years.
And you can hide for 2 weeks in the jungle.
No.
I'm sorry, Luke. There's nothing else to do. That pilot will get down. I just got a feeling he'll make it fine.
I've got a feeling he won't.
When you talk like that, it makes me nervous.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
So Anderson finally caught up with me, huh? It's taken him 4 years, but he finally found me. Buried in his God-forsaken hole, and he's found me. Well, maybe that's good. Maybe that's just standing.
Hello, Tower. C428 calling San Jose Tower. Over.
San Jose Tower calling C428. Come in. Over.
We've just entered storm. On instruments now. Holding course for your station. Request altimeter setting. Over.
Altimeter setting reads 29.85. I say again. 29.85.
29.85.
That is Roger. Out.
Hear anything?
No.
Wait a minute. Stinking lousy rain. Listen. That's it. They'll never make it. It's suicide. No pilot on Earth can bring a plane down in that. Not on this field.
What if they do make it?
You want to bet?
Listen. He's right on the beam. San Jose Tower calling C428. What is compass heading?
Compass heading 180.
He's pretty hot, Luke.
He'll never make it. Never.
C428, make left turn and take heading 320.
Left turn 320. Over.
Roger. Out.
They're not gonna make it.
Luke.
Well, what do you want me to say? Come on in and get me? Come on in and take me back and burn me? What am I supposed to do? Rush out and say hello? Glad to see you here. Here I am. Let's go.
If Anderson doesn't get in, they'll send in some other
That'll
guy.
be another problem at another time.
There are 2 pilots on that plane, Luke. Maybe with families.
So
and
they should have
kids.
stayed home.
Luke, you're not that kind of a guy.
He's turned. You can hardly hear him.
San Jose Tower to C428. Let down to about 50 feet. Keep heading.
50. I say again 50. 50 feet. Keep heading.
50's too low.
Shh. He's letting down.
One engine sounds bad.
Did you see anything?
You kidding?
Well, we should see him in a second or two.
We'll never see him. We'll never see any of them. They'll never make it. Never.
Where the heck is he?
Never make it. Never.
Up! For crying out, up! holy suffering cow.
Hello, Tower. Were we too close?
Too close. By inches. Try again. More to right.
They're not coming in, Irv.
Luke, that pilot's hot. He didn't miss that runway by much. I think he'll make it next time. That sort of puts the odds against him.
So?
So what'd you say? You want to beat it? I'll look you up later. I don't want to go home anyway.
No. I'm tired of seeing his name everywhere I look and everywhere I don't look.
But, Luke, they're going to come in next time. That pilot's hot.
No, they're not coming in.
Luke.
I'll take over.
Listen, Luke, I'll help you. I'll run away with you. But if you're thinking what I think you're thinking... Luke, it's wholesale murder. You can't do it. I won't let you do it.
Give me that microphone.
No.
I'm in charge here. Give me that microphone.
Luke, please, don't be crazy.
You don't get out of that chair, I'll kill you.
Luke, put that gun down. Good Lord, man, have you lost your mind? Have you been... How? Remember me?
Get out of that chair.
I won't.
If he's so good, let him come in himself. Now get out of that chair and give me that microphone.
San Jose, making another run. Putting wing lights on. May help you to see us.
Roger, C428, come ahead.
Irv, I'll kill you if you don't give me that microphone. I'm not fooling, Irv. I mean it. Thanks. Now I'll take the chair, too. Thanks.
Luke, he's too high. Tell him he's too high.
He'll find out soon enough.
Luke, you can't do this.
Can't I?
Dear God, you've gone nuts.
Ready for another run. Instructions, please, Tower.
Nice day if it doesn't rain.
Don't take it out on all of them. You're not a murderer.
Anderson thinks I am. So I've decided not to disappoint him.
Tower. Hello, Tower. Not receiving you. C428 calling San Jose Tower. Come in, Tower. Over.
You're in line with the runway as far as we can tell.
Roger, Tower.
He's not in line.
He's in line, but he's too high.
Oh, dear God in heaven, do you know what you're doing?
Get over there, Irv. I'm doing this. Now sit down. Maybe this is the wrong way, but it's the way I'm doing it. And if you want to argue, there's 6 bullets on my side. Now sit down.
But they're too high, Luke. They'll all be killed. If he levels off at that altitude, they'll all be killed.
That's what I'm counting on.
Not 3 people,
That's
Luke.
too bad.
Instructions, please, Tower. About to make another run. Putting wing lights on.
He's got it lined up this time, Luke. Luke, he's too high. Tell him to let down, Luke. Tell him to let down. Luke, you can't do this.
I'm not going back, see? I'm not going back. They think I killed a guy. If I go back, I'll burn. They can only do that to you once. So whether I kill one guy or 30, it doesn't make any difference. I'm not going back.
Luke, please.
Tower, where are you? Am I in line? Instructions, please, Tower. Am I in line?
Answer him, Luke.
No. Luke. For 4 years, I've dodged this guy. Every time I get on a boat, a train, every time I stir out of this stinking, rotten tower, I wonder if Anderson's going to pop out of the jungle at me.
Luke, please don't do that.
Every time I see a big man with a gray hat, there's a quick clutch at my guts. And the sweat comes out of my neck. For 4 years, I've been afraid to stir out of this lousy jungle. You know what that feels like, Irv, do you?
You've been through a lot, Irv. But you can't do this. This is more than just one guy, Luke. This is...
For 4 years, I've been afraid of Robert Hall or Anderson. And now I've got him. I know just exactly where he is and what I've got to do. A few feet too low, and who's to know it's my fault? Irv, if you get out of that chair, I'll kill you.
God in heaven, Luke, you don't know what you're saying. You don't know what you're doing. You...
Tower, C428 calling San Jose Tower. Not receiving you. We'll take another run. Instructions, please.
Tell him to let down, Luke. You've got to tell him.
I said if you get out of that chair, I'll kill you.
And you'll have to kill me.
I mean it, Irv. I'll kill you.
I'm going to pick up that microphone and call that pilot. If you want to shoot, go ahead. If you yell all through, go ahead.
Tower, instructions, please. What are you guys doing?
Give me that microphone. Luke, you're crazy. You can't do this.
I'll shoot, Irv. I mean it.
You're afraid to shoot me, Luke. Because you yell. Yell all through.
You asked for it. I didn't want to hit you with the gun, Irv. But I'm not going back. Now stay there, see? Just stay where you are, because if you get up, I'll let you have it for keeps.
Tower, for God's sake, help me. Instructions, please.
You can
come in.
Crash! That's what you can do. Bring it in.
Let's see you bring it in. You'll pay for this, Luke. Even if they never get you, you'll pay for this for years and years and years. You'll never know that you just sat there and let 3 people die. Let them die.
Tower, not receiving you. Tower, please answer me.
Luke, this isn't you. It's the weeks and weeks of heat, the jungle, now rain. You're sick, Luke. You don't know what you're doing. Please, Luke, for the love of Almighty God, don't do this. Shut up!
C428 going San Jose Tower. Why don't you answer, Tower? One engine dead completely. Altitude 600 feet. We'll circle Tower once more. Then try crash landing. Cannot locate field. Please answer me. Please talk me in. Tower, please talk me in. We're desperate. Tower, over.
They'll be killed, Luke. The 3 of them. They'll never make it if you don't talk them in. Luke, you're still all right. You didn't kill that guy back in the States, but this is murder, Luke. 3 guys, and you're killing them. I'll never leave you. You'll always see that plane. It'll crash out there. There'll be flames. They'll burn the soul out of you no matter where you are, the jungles, the ocean. Everything you look, you'll see that plane in flames. It'll burn your guts out for the rest of your life, and I hope you live to be 100. I'm not going back. I'm not going back.
Tower, this is our last chance. Please talk me in. Please. We're letting down now. Please talk me in. Are you guys trying to kill us?
Tell him, Luke. Go on. Tell him you're a murderer.
San Jose Tower, calling C428. All right, C428. Turn on your landing lights. Yeah. We see you, C428. Drop it. Drop it. More. That's it. All right, now start the level off. Down. A little more. Hold it. Easy. Okay, drop it. That's it. Down. You're on. You're in, C428. You're in. You're in. You're okay.
Thanks, Luke. I'm glad you did that. You can't fight this thing. You're innocent.
Yeah, I'm innocent and nobody will believe me. Get up off the floor.
You won't be sorry, Luke. You won't be sorry.
Yeah, I won't be sorry. Well, Anderson's been chasing me for 4 years. I better get spruced up, huh?
Yeah.
You got a comb?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, Irv. Thanks. There. How do I look?
Mere, like a great guy. A very great guy.
Thanks, pal. Here he comes.
You have just heard Weather Ahead, Attraction 29 on Radio City Playhouse, as written by Bill Devlin and directed by Harry W. Junkin. Joe DeSantis was Luke Kaplan. Robert Clark was Irv. The pilot was Donald Curtis. The music was specially composed and conducted by Dr. Roy Shield. Radio City Playhouse is supervised for the National Broadcasting Company by Richard P. McDonough.
This is Harry Junkin again. Ladies and gentlemen, next week we'll give you another tense, suspenseful play, Blind Vengeance by George Black. That's Blind Vengeance, Attraction 30 on Radio City Playhouse. Good night, everybody.
Robert Warren speaking. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
This is ABN, the Antioch Broadcasting Network.
You just heard an episode of Radio City Playhouse, which originally aired Monday, March 14th, 1949, 72 years ago today. Here's an episode of Family Theater, which originally aired Wednesday, March 14th, 1951, 70 years ago today.
Family Theater presents Charles Coburn and Gigi Perot. From Hollywood, the Mutual Network, in cooperation with Family Theater, presents Gigi Perot in A Pardon for Tippy. To introduce the drama, your host, Charles Coburn.
Thank you, Tony Ferrano. Family Theater's only purpose is to bring to everyone's attention a practice that must become an important part of our lives if we are to win peace for ourselves, peace for our families, and peace for the world. Family Theater urges you to pray. Pray together as a family. Tonight, Family Theater takes great pleasure in presenting A Pardon for Tippy, starring Gigi Perot as Meanie.
Tippy, what are you doing? Don't pull that rug.
Tippy! Nina, stop her. That's a new throw rug.
Tippy, stop it! Oh, I'm ashamed of you.
You bad dog.
Oh, Mommy, you hurt her feelings.
Her feelings? Look at that rug.
No. Now don't cry. I love you, Tippy. Yes, I love you. Look, Mother, has got the softest brown eyes? That's how she talks to me. Tippy talks to me with her eyes.
And I'm going to speak to you with the palm of my hand.
Evan, don't shout at your sister like that.
Did you use my soap on that dog again?
You mean that sweet-smelling soap?
Yes, that sweet-smelling soap.
I washed Tippy with it, and I used it all up.
What?
Nina, you didn't on that dog?
There wasn't much left anyway.
Nina, the next time you wash that mangy poodle of yours, I'm...
Mangy.
Well, look. She's sensitive.
Of course she is. You'd better stop talking that way about her.
Tippy, quiet.
And you'd better not insult her anymore.
Okay, I'm sorry. Forget it.
I'm not going to stand for it, and you'd better take back everything you said.
All right, I take it back. All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Mommy!
Well, Nina, what's the matter? What happened?
Something terrible.
Oh, now calm down, dear.
It's Alice.
Your friend Alice? What's happened?
They took her dog away.
Nina, the idea of frightening me like that.
They took her dog away. The dog catchers got him.
All right, I'm very sorry to hear it. Now, let's forget all about it, Nina. Wash up and have your lunch.
I don't care about lunch. Where's Tippy?
Oh, probably wandering around someplace where she shouldn't be, I suppose.
I've got to find her.
You sit right down and have your lunch.
I don't feel like eating.
Go wash your hands.
Mommy, please let me find Tippy first.
You don't have time, Nina.
But I can't eat till I find her.
You certainly can.
Mom, please let me find her. Maybe the dog catcher's got her, too. I've got to find her.
Oh, Nina, please don't cry, dear. I'm sure nothing's happened to her.
I can't help it. I worry about her, Mommy. I've got to find Tippy. Oh, Tippy, you're all right. My beautiful little Tippy.
How are you, Mom?
Tippy, Tippy, come back here. Evan, stop her.
What for? Hey, look at her go.
I don't want the dog catcher to get her. Tippy, come back. Tippy.
Well, you'll never get her now, Mom.
Oh, that dog. Evan, you go get her.
What for? She'll be back. What are you worried about her for all of a sudden, Mom?
Well, I promised Nina I wouldn't let her out by herself.
Well, why not?
Well, Nina's afraid the dog catchers might get her.
Not in this town. Even the dog catchers aren't reliable.
Now, Evan, don't start up with your politics.
The Better Government Association is not political. It is for better government. Anything wrong with that, Mom?
No, nothing. We could use a little better government in this house. Nina and Tippy are getting out of hand. They're just one big worry.
Say, you're not getting fond of that dog, too, are you?
Oh, I wouldn't want anything to happen to her. Did you look all over the neighborhood, dear?
Everywhere.
Don't worry, she'll come home. She always does.
No, she won't.
Why, Nina?
I think the dog catcher's got her. What are we going to do, Mommy? What are we going to do?
Now, sis, don't cry. You'll get another dog.
I don't want another dog.
Well, crying won't help, Nina. You go to bed now. Get a good night's rest. You'll feel better in the morning.
But I can't sleep. Not without Tippy.
Go to bed, dear. You'll fall asleep.
All right. But let me sleep on the daybed, Mommy. Then I can hear Tippy if she comes back.
No, you can't sleep in the daybed. The street noises will keep you awake.
I don't care.
All right, Nina. You can sleep in the living room, but you mustn't feel too bad, dear, if Tippy doesn't come back.
You think maybe somebody stole her?
Who would want that mutt?
Evan?
She's not a mutt.
Okay, I'm sorry. Say, Nina, you want to go to the show? It might help you forget about your dog.
I don't want to forget her. I'll stay home and wait for Tippy.
How about you, Mom?
No, I'll wait for Tippy, too.
Please, dear God, don't let anything happen to Tippy. Please take care of her. She's such a poor little dog. Please watch over her. Evan, is that you, Evan?
Nina, are you still up? It's almost midnight.
Tippy hasn't come home yet.
Now, don't worry, sis.
Evan, I think the dog catcher's got Tippy.
Yeah, I guess they have.
But she might be lost. Maybe somebody stole her, or maybe...
I don't think so.
Will they feed her and take care of her?
Oh, of course they will.
But I want her back, Evan. I suppose it'll cost money to get her out.
Yes, it will, and we can't afford it, Nina.
But it wouldn't cost much.
Whatever it is too much. I'm sorry, sis.
How much could it be?
I don't know, but it's no use, Nina.
Evan, would you call up the dog pound?
At this hour? I'll call in the morning.
No, I'll call myself. Will you please find the number for me?
Well, all right. If you promise to go to sleep.
I promise. Please, Evan.
All right. Here's the phone book. See now. That's City Dog Pound.
Maybe I could earn the money. Do you think it's a lot of money? Do you think it's more than $1?
Hey, here it is. Dog Pound, Union 2141. I'll write it down.
Union 2141. Union 2141.
I'll write it down. You don't have to memorize it.
I just want to be sure, just in case I lose the number.
Oh, now, don't worry, sis. Remember, dogs aren't the most important things in the world.
I know, but I miss her so much.
Good night, sis.
Good night,
Sleep
Evan.
tight.
Union 2141. Union 2141. Union 2141.
She called the dog pound this morning. It'll cost $7 to get Tippy out.
Oh, that's too much. $4 for a license and $3 for a release, I suppose. That's too much money.
Of course, but she just won't listen to reason. That child has been miserable all day.
Where's she now, Mom? It's almost dinner time.
Out trying to get the $7.
But
I don't know. She didn't say.
how?
Poor little thing. She hasn't eaten a bite since yesterday. I never realized how much that dog meant to her.
She'll get it. I was thinking maybe if I brought her another puppy, she'd forget about Tippy.
Maybe. It's worth trying. Anything to make her forget that dog. Oh, Nina, is that you?
Yes, Mom. I'm sorry I'm late for dinner. I'm not hungry anyway.
What were you doing with your new roller skates? Were you skating?
No, I thought maybe I could sell them.
For $7?
No, as much as I could get.
That was Mom's Christmas present, sis. I thought you wanted skates more than anything else in the world.
Not more than Tippy.
Nina, I wouldn't let you sell your skates. Why, I got them for you especially.
I'm sorry, Mom. I love your skates. But if I don't save Tippy right away, why, she'll die. Tippy'll die. I can't let Tippy die. I can't let her die.
Oh, come here, Nina. Now, don't cry, dear.
I'm sorry, Mommy.
I know, dear, but crying won't help.
Isn't there anything we can do? Anything?
You mean anything that won't cost $7?
Can't you think of something, Evan?
Well, now, let's see. You could write a letter to the governor.
Evan, don't. Please don't tease her.
Say, I'll bet the mayor could save Tippy. I bet the mayor could grant a pardon for Tippy.
What's a pardon?
Well, the mayor just calls up the city dog pound and he says, hold everything. Tippy must not die. Set her free. This is the mayor speaking. Yeah, that's all there is to it.
Can the mayor really do that?
Now, Evan, you know that isn't so.
Well, maybe not. I doubt if the mayor could do anything asking Carberry first.
Who's Carberry?
The man who runs the mayor.
I could call up the mayor and ask him.
Yeah, you could, if he'd bothered to listen to anything without you.
I don't care. I'll call him.
Tell you what, I'll get his office for you.
Now, what was it I was supposed to do, Carberry?
It's about this incinerator deal. We don't want it built in the Southwest District. Get it out of there.
But most of the councilmen are the Southwest.
I know, but all we need are just a couple of votes to swing it our way. Get Harrison and Blake up here and talk to them. Tell them how to vote. It's up to you.
Well, frankly, Carberry, I think the Southwest District is the cheapest and the best.
Now, look, just do as I say, don't I?
Well, no need to get excited, Carberry. After all, as mayor of this town, I do have an opinion on these matters.
Your opinion isn't important. There are several other people whose opinions are important, and they want it out of their district. You follow me?
But as mayor, I certainly
Look, I made you mayor, and I'll keep you here, but you got to do what you're told.
Excuse me. Hello?
There's a little girl on the phone, sir. She insists on speaking to you.
A little girl? Well, what does she want?
Well, she won't say. She has to speak to you. It's very important, she says.
Who is it?
It's a little girl. She wants to speak to the mayor.
Hang up. Now, about this incinerator...
Well, she says it's very important.
Look, this incinerator deal is more important. Now, hang up.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Tell her I'm sorry. I'm busy.
Yes, sir.
Wasting your time on kids. It's crazy.
Children are important, too. I'm sure her problem was...
Yeah, forget it. Look, when will you see Harrison and Blake?
I'll take care of it.
Today.
Today.
So he hung up on you. I thought he would. Don't worry, we'll get him next election.
But what about Tippy? I've got to tell him about Tippy.
Forget it, Nina.
I won't forget it. I'm going to see the mayor.
All right now, Nina. Put your skates away.
Evan, are you sure the mayor can really pardon Tippy?
Sure. Now all you have to do is talk to him.
For the last time, Nina, put your skates away and wash your hands.
I know where the city hall is. It's downtown.
Oh, Evan was only joking.
But the mayor could pardon Tippy. You said so yourself.
I know, but why, Nina? You're not serious.
I'm going to see the mayor tomorrow.
Atta girl.
Evan, don't encourage her. It's ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. It's a matter of life and death.
That's right, Mom. Tippy's life is at stake.
I'm not going to let Nina make a fool of herself.
I'm not going to make a fool of... I'm going to see the mayor. Myself, I'll walk right in and talk to him.
Say, I'll bet you could do it, too. Let her go, Mom.
Evan, are you out of your mind?
I'm serious, Mom.
But the mayor of a big city, he's a busy man. Why, he'll...
Let me try,
Will you let her go, Mom? Of course you'll have to get past that clique that controls the mayor.
Oh, don't be so cynical.
It's a known fact, Mom. I bet they even tell them when to go out for lunch. Oh, let her go anyway. I like her spunk. Will you let her go?
Well, all right. But no more talk about Tippy afterwards.
I promise.
Do you know how to get there?
You take the number 2 bus right to the city hall.
Number 2 bus.
And don't make friends with strangers.
And don't talk to anybody but the mayor.
I won't.
And don't ride with strangers either.
Oh, absolutely not.
I promise.
And come right back home. Don't go any place with anybody.
I won't, Mom.
I'll give you bus fare. Remember now, come straight home.
I will. I'll come straight home after I see the mayor.
Yes, after you see the mayor.
Main Street, City Hall.
Do I get off here for City Hall?
That's right, young lady. There it is.
Thank you.
Who do you think you're going to see at City Hall? The mayor?
Yes.
Main floor, watch your step. Oh, hello there. You going up with me?
Yes. What floor is the mayor on?
The who?
The mayor.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said. 4th floor.
Thank you.
Okay. Go on up. Go on up. Fourth floor. Here we are, little girl. Good luck.
This must be the mayor's office.
No, the mayor can't see you today. I'll put you down for tomorrow. I know. I'm sorry. Yes, I'll put you first thing in the morning. Yes. Goodbye. Well, hello. You lost?
No.
Oh, this is the mayor's office.
I want to see the mayor, please.
Oh, you go down the hall and What did you say?
I want to see the mayor.
Well, what do you want to see him about?
About something very important.
Oh. Well, see that lady over there by that desk? You talk to her.
Thank you. Excuse me.
Oh, hello. Can I help you?
Yes, please. I want to talk to the mayor.
You do? Well, the mayor's very busy.
But it's very important.
Well, what's it about?
It's about something very important. I can't tell you. I have to talk to the mayor.
Is it really very important?
It's a matter of life and death.
Well, that certainly sounds important. Just a minute. Herb. Oh, Herb.
Yes, Sue?
Come here a minute, will you?
Yeah, sure. Well, what's the matter?
She came to see the mayor.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Tell him, honey.
I want to see the mayor. It's very important. It's a matter of life and death.
Life and death?
Yes. I came on the bus. My brother gave me the car fare. I came to talk to the mayor. It's very important.
What do you think, Herb?
Why, what do you mean? I can't take...
Gee, it'd be a shame to disappoint the child.
Yeah, sure, I know, but he's in conference right now. I don't dare interrupt him.
Now, let me get this straight. Do you intend to ask for this tax now?
That's right, Carberry.
You can't do it, Mayor.
That's no way to get reelected. You can't raise taxes now. It would be political suicide.
I promised those road improvements to the people. I was elected on those promises.
So what? 3 months from now, when the voters go to the polls, all they'll remember is the tax.
I say not another cent for anything, not until election's over.
Carberry is right. Play it smart. Keep the budget down.
But I don't think it's the right thing to do.
Right or wrong, it's not good politics. I say...
I know what you say, Carberry.
Now, look, you'd better not do anything we advise you against. Not if you want to get reelected.
They'll forget it. People forget.
I don't think so, and I...
Feelings won't get you reelected. Now, get wise. Play it safe.
I don't know. I'm not so sure. Herb has some papers on this deal. I want you to see them. I'll get him to bring them in.
Never mind. I don't want to see them.
Well, these are important. They'll open your eyes.
I just see what I want to see. Never mind the papers.
Herb's at his desk. Wait, I'll get him. I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, but Herb, she came here all by herself. It'll break her heart.
Well, I don't think the mayor would mind, but, yeah, you know Carberry. He'd bite my head off.
Oh, say, look. The mayor just walked out of his office. I think he's looking for you.
Here I am, sir. I'll be right there.
Oh, is that the mayor? Hello, remember me? I called yesterday.
Oh, so you're the young lady who called me.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I called you, but you were busy.
Well, come on over here, young lady. What's your name?
Nina.
Nina what?
Nina Moore.
Nina Moore. Oh, that's a pretty name. Here, now, you sit down. Right here on this desk. Yeah. Now, what can I do for you?
They got Tippy, my dog Tippy, and I love her very much, and she's such a little dog. She never hurt anybody, and she can't even bite, because she doesn't have any teeth, and I love her, and I miss her so much. Could I please have her back? Please, Mr. Mayor, will you pardon Tippy?
Oh, no, let's not cry. Everything's going to be all right.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. Yeah, use mine. Herb, get a glass of water.
Yes, sir.
Did you come here all by yourself?
Yes, sir. My brother Evan gave me bus fare.
Are you hungry?
No, thank you. I just want Tippy.
Oh, yes, Tippy. Now, what happened to Tippy?
The dog catcher's got her.
Oh, I see. And, what do you want me to do?
Could you please get a pardon for her?
Get a what?
A pardon. You know, you could call up the dog pound and say, I want you to let Tippy go. I want to pardon her.
I can do that.
Sure, it's a law.
Herb, did you know I could pardon dogs?
Why, no, sir.
Did you, Miss Simpson?
No, I didn't.
Now you see what an important job this is. I never realized until now how important a mayor is.
Will you do it, Mr. Mayor? Will
Really?
you?
Well, I'll try.
Oh, thank you.
Miss Simpson, please get me the dog pound.
Oh, yes, sir.
It's Union 2141.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
2141.
you came to see the mayor. You came here all by yourself. Did you have much trouble finding me?
Oh, no. Everybody knows where the mayor is.
Here you are, sir.
Now, in just a minute, I'll pardon your dog. Hello? Are you the man in charge?
Yeah, I'm What do you want? Charge.
This is the mayor calling.
Who?
The mayor. The mayor of the city.
Look, mister, I'm busy right now. Call me back April 1st, will you?
Hello. Hello. Well, he hung up.
Didn't he believe you were the mayor?
I guess not.
Well, are you? Are you really the mayor? You're not making fun of me, too, are you? Are you really the mayor?
Well, this is serious, all right. I'll prove it to you. Miss Simpson, get me an outside line, please.
Yes, sir.
Nina, pick up that phone and call the mayor.
All right. Hello? I want to talk to the mayor, please.
I'll answer it.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, Nina. This is the mayor speaking.
Hello. I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor.
There. I guess that proved it, didn't it? Well, now, that's better. Herb, call back the pound and explain to him, will you?
Why, sure. Maybe I'd better let Carberry handle it.
Never mind Carberry. Better take it in my office. Now, Nina?
Yes, sir.
How are you going to get to the dog pound to pick up Tippy?
I have bus fare.
I'll tell you what. You save your bus fare. I'll send for my car. I'll take you there myself. How would you like that? Riding in the mayor's car.
That much, but I can't ride with anyone.
Well, why not?
Thank you very much. I promised my mother I wouldn't ride with strangers.
But we're friends, aren't we, Nina?
Yes, but I promised. No, I think I'd better take the bus.
All right, then. Call your mother and ask her if it's all right for you to ride with the mayor.
Well, all right. I'll ask her.
Everything is all set at the dog pound.
Good.
I've got the man on the phone. He wants Nina to tell him the dog's name.
Oh, Miss Simpson, get him on this line, please.
Oh, surely. Hello? Yes, here she is.
Now, go ahead, Nina. The man at the dog pound wants to know the name of your dog. Go on, tell him.
Hello? My dog's name is Tippy. Tippy, is that you? Are you all right, Tippy? Oh, Tippy, it's Tippy, Mr. Mayor. It's Nina, Tippy, it's Nina. I'm going to take you home, Tippy, home.
Nina?
Oh, yes, sir. I knew you'd save Tippy. I just knew you would.
Oh, you did? How did you know?
Because it wasn't right to take Tippy away from me. And you're a big, important man. You would know it was wrong, and you wouldn't let it happen.
I see. I would know it was wrong, and I wouldn't let it happen.
Right or wrong, it's not good politics.
And I know you could do anything you want to do.
You better not do anything we advise you against if you want to get reelected.
And thank you again for the pardon for Tippy. I'll never forget you for saving my dog. Never.
They'll forget it. People forget.
Thank you, Nina. You've done something for me, too. Something very important.
Oh, look, we're home now. Will Mommy and Evan be surprised to see you?
Well, I'm sorry, Nina. I have to get back to the city hall and do some house cleaning. And there's some people waiting for me, too.
What people?
The people of this city. The people who elected me mayor. I have a job to do for them, too.
All right, Mr. Mayor.
Goodbye, Nina.
Goodbye, and thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Goodbye. Thank you, Nina.
This is Charles Coburn again. You know, I have a friend who's quite a fisherman and hunter. A person the newspapers would call a sportsman, I guess. The other day I said to him, Bill, what are your thoughts on prayer? You remind me sometimes of an uneasy cat, up and stirring at all hours, prowling into nature's secrets. What's it all about? Listen, he said to me. For all you may think, I'm not one of those parrot brains who says you don't have to go to church because you find God best in nature. I love nature, but I don't worship it. For all nature worships someone else, God. To me, being in a cathedral now with the organ playing, well, that's beautiful too. But the whole world's a cathedral, and I like to think that in nature's cathedral there's only one voice, because nature's God is one God. This one voice now, of course, there are different variations of it, somewhat like a church organist playing variations on the same theme. But in nature, there are almost infinite variations. Well, nature's an organist too, with winds and pipes and manuals and, yes, a musical notation written across the wide horizons in clouds and skies and tall pine trees and mountain peaks and such. It's all one voice, all brought forth by the same organist. Man has a voice too, and it's better than any of them. But of all God's creatures, he alone sometimes doesn't lift it up, doesn't loan it back to the God who gave it to him. And a man who doesn't use his voice to pray, well, he's like a cracked fiddle, no better than a piece of firewood. So when you count me in, the whole of God's world reminds me why I should pray. And I do. I used to think that this friend of mine wasted a lot of time with his hunting and fishing and tramping, but I've changed my mind. He's learned some things that I've never read in books or heard in sermons. Keep these 7 words ringing in your thoughtful ears. The family that prays together stays together.
More things are wrought by prayer than this world dreams of.
From Hollywood, Family Theater has brought you Gigi Perot in A Pardon for Tippy. Charles Coburn was your host. Others in the cast were Bill Johnstone, Wally Mayer, Sarah Selby, Tommy Cook, Martha Shaw, Howard Culver, John Larch, Earl Keane, and Ray Hike. The script was written by Saul Seidman with music composed and conducted by Harry Zimmerman and was directed for Family Theater by Joseph F. Mansfield. This series of Family Theater broadcasts is made possible by the thousands of you who felt the need for this type of program, by the Mutual Network, which has responded to this need, and by the hundreds of stars of stage, screen, and radio who have so unselfishly given of their time and talent to appear on our Family Theater stage. To them and to you, our humble thanks. This is Tony Lafrano expressing the wish of Family Theater that the blessing of God may be upon you and your home, and inviting you to join us next week at this same time when Family Theater will present Miss Ethel Barrymore narrating the inspiring story of the passion and death of Christ. Your host will be Lionel Barrymore. Join us, won't you? Family Theater is broadcast throughout the world and originates in the Hollywood studios of the world's largest network, the Mutual Broadcasting System.
You're listening to KPNL Radio, Portland, Oregon.
Brought to you by Mac and Mind Software and your donations. You're listening to ABN, the Antioch Broadcasting Network, playing a daily schedule of vintage radio genres and matching today's date in history when available. Visit radio.macandmind.com for a schedule. We now present Frontier Stories on ABN, the Antioch Broad Network. Casting. Here's an episode of Six Shooter, which originally aired Sunday, March 14th, 1954, 67 years ago today.
In a moment, you'll hear James Stewart as the Six Shooter. Just one of the many fine programs brought to you Sundays on NBC. Later this evening, listen to the NBC Star Playhouse with your favorite stars. Here, Meet the Press with guest Roy Cohn in a newsworthy broadcast. And be sure to keep tuned for the dramatic story of communism in America on Last Man Out. It's a wonderful lineup of great programs, all of them heard only on NBC. James Stewart as the Six Shooter. The man in the saddle is angular and long-legged. His skin is sun-dyed brown. The gun in his holster is gray steel and rainbow mother of pearl. Its handle unmarked. People call them both the Six Shooter. The NBC Radio Network presents James Stewart as the Six Shooter. A transcribed series of radio dramas based on the life of Britt Ponsett, the Texas plainsman who wandered through the Western Territories, leaving behind a trail of still-remembered legends.
I could tell he was a big man from the sound of his steps as he plowed through the trees toward squatted by the fire eating my lunch. Finally came where I was in sight. He's almost as broad as he was tall. With bright red hair and a great big thick mustache, he kind of curled up at the corners. Well, he sure wasn't any cowhand. Not with those duds he was wearing. Long black coat and light yellow breeches. Looked like he'd been wearing them for quite a spell, too, though. Mud all over the pants and a tear in one of the coat sleeves. He seemed cheerful enough, though. At least the grin he gave me was so broad it showed off practically every tooth in his head. Lots of gold there, too.
Howdy, mister.
Hello.
On myself and for a spell?
No. Go right ahead.
That sun just don't give off much heat. What time you make it, mister?
About noon. Maybe a little later.
Hey, that grub sure smells good, don't it?
Are you hungry?
Well, not hungry exactly. Starved would be more like it.
Well, you help yourself to what's left of the beans over there.
Well, thanks, mister. Thanks a lot. Worked up quite an appetite since breakfast.
They traveling on foot, huh?
Yep. Not from choice, understand. Not from choice. Had me pony. Finest little roan you ever saw. I lost him, though. Oh, by George, those beans are tasty.
Well, you lost your horse?
Yep. Last night. Poker game over to Jackson.
Poker. Yeah. Well, you're a gambler, huh?
Well, the way a card's been running lately, I ain't so sure.
I see.
But if I had to go broke somewheres, I guess Jackson was as good a place as any. At least it's within walking distance, Clover Fork.
Well, that's quite a walk.
Don't I know it. I ain't got much further to go, though, have I?
About 15 miles, I think.
Well, I reckon I'll make it somehow. You acquainted with Clover Fork, mister?
Some. I've been working on a ranch not very far from there. Get into town, usually down every week or so. That's where I'm headed now.
Well, then, maybe you can tell me where I'll find my family. My wife and son, that is. Their name's Proctor.
What? Proctor?
Well, they're still living in Clover Fork, ain't they? That's where they'd moved to last time I heard. Janet Proctor, that's my wife. Boy's called Ted after his grandfather. You know him, mister?
Yeah, I know Ted.
Oh, I'll bet he's a whopper by now. Why, he must be Well, let's see. He's going on 12 years old.
He's a good-sized boy, all right.
Well, what about Janet, mister? She's still pretty. She used to be pretty as a picket girl when she was...
Yeah, well, as a matter of fact, Mrs. Proctor's dead.
What?
Yes, she's, was over a year ago now, pneumonia.
Janet? Dead?
Yes, I'm very sorry, Proctor. It's funny they didn't let you know about it.
I reckon they tried. I ain't an easy man to reach. I keep moving around.
Yeah, well, to tell you the truth, I didn't realize that Ted's father was still alive. I sort of got the impression that you were dead.
Poor Janet. She sure never had much of a life. It was my fault. My fault more than anybody's, I guess. But I just couldn't do no different. I tried to settle down, get a steady job. It didn't work out. Some men aren't meant to stay put.
Yeah?
Now, it wasn't that I really left her, you understand. At first, he used to come back whenever I had a winning streak and I got some money ahead. And as time went on, I kept staying away longer and longer until, well, it's been 7, 8 years now. She wasn't living in Clover Fork when I last saw her. She told me to move there. I thought sure I'd be where she was found this part of the country before now, but, hell, there always seemed to be another card game to keep me away.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Ted's all right, you said, huh?
Yeah, oh, yes, he's fine. Last time I saw him.
Who's looking after him now?
Well, your wife's sister. He's been living with her the last year.
Amy? Why, well, she's just a girl.
Oh, she must be getting on to 30.
30? Well, ain't she married yet?
No, there's talk, though. Fred Baker, a real nice fellow. He owns a ranch right outside of town.
Well, how's Amy managing? She don't have no money.
Well, I guess you didn't know it, but your wife had built up a pretty nice little dressmaking trade, and Amy took it over. Woman folks say she's real handy with a needle.
Oh.
Ted does his part, too. Odd jobs after school, things like that. Oh, you'll be real proud of that boy.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Well, I guess I better be moving along.
Well, I'll just clean this kettle out with some sand here.
I'd like to offer you a ride into town, but my horse is losing a shoe. I don't think you could carry both of us.
That's all right, miss. That's all right. Yeah, thanks for the grub.
Oh, don't mention it.
Say, well, doggone it. I don't know your name, do I?
Oh, it's Ponset.
Not Britt Ponset.
That's right.
Well, I always figured I'd be meeting up with you someday, the way the both of us keep moving around. I'm real pleased to meet you, Mr. Ponset. Oh, my first name's Gus.
Oh, hey, Gus.
Before you shove off, I was wondering if you'd mind doing me a little favor.
Hmm?
As long as you'll be getting into Clover Fork ahead of me, would you stop off and tell Amy and the boy that I'm coming to see him for a day or so? I think maybe they kind of deserve a warning.
Sure, I'd be glad to, Gus.
Fred, it isn't fair. He's got no right to come here. Not after all this time.
Well, Amy, he's Ted's father.
He was Janet's husband, too. But that didn't make any difference to him. Nobody else ever made any difference. Now, all of a sudden, he remembers that he's got a son. Why didn't he ever think about Ted before?
Now, don't get yourself all upset over it. He's only passing through. He'll just be here a day or so. That's what he said.
What will it do to Ted? He thinks his father's dead.
He would. Oh.
I had to tell him something, Britt. When Janet was so sick, he got the idea that if his pa was here, she'd get better. I could hear little Teddy praying. Every night he prayed that his father would come home. And when he didn't, and Janet died, well, I told him Gus was dead. I said that was why he hadn't come. And for all I knew, it was true. For all I knew, he was dead.
Well, I'm not saying I blame you, Amy, but Proctor's on his way into town, so if you want to explain to Ted,
He isn't even here. He had some errands he was going to do for me on his way home from school. I imagine he'll... Oh, that'll be Mrs. Peters. I promised her I'd have a dress ready for tonight, and it's barely started. Oh.
Hello, Amy.
What, Gus?
You were expecting me, weren't you?
Yes, but not yet. Not so soon. Britt said you wouldn't be here until later.
Well, I made better time than I expected. Soudbuster gave me a ride in his wagon.
Oh. Well, come in.
Howdy, Mr. Ponset. Nice seeing you again.
Hi, Gus.
My. You turned out real pretty, Amy.
Have I?
Well, I think maybe I'd better be getting on.
There's no reason for you to go, Britt.
No, I have to get me a room for the night. Now, you and Gus have things to talk over.
We don't have anything to talk about.
No, Amy, I know how you must feel.
You don't know how I feel. You couldn't know. It wasn't pneumonia that killed Janet. When you left that last time and didn't come back. When she didn't even hear from you. That's what killed her.
Well, I couldn't help myself, Amy. It wasn't that I didn't love Janet, but...
Oh, go away, please. Leave us alone. Ted believes that you're dead. It's better that way.
He believes I'm dead?
Oh, don't make him go through the same thing Janet did. Always wondering where you are, always worrying about you. Let him go on believing you're dead.
Amy, you shouldn't have...
I'm home, Aunt Amy. I got the black thread you wanted and a piece of silk material, but...
Hello, Teddy. You remember Mr. Ponset?
Sure.
Hi, Ted.
Just fine, Mr. Ponset.
Ted. Ted, this is...
I reckon your aunt's forgotten my name, son. Can't say as I blame her, seeing as how we just met up. It's, Parker. George Parker. I stopped by because I used to be a friend of your pa's.
Well, Gus Proctor carried it off pretty well, too. Sounded real convincing. The only mistake he made was saying that he'd known Ted's father. Well, sir, that youngster cut loose with a whole passel of questions. And from then on, Gus had a pretty hard time keeping up the pretending. He kept trying to leave, but it seemed that he just had to stay for supper. Ted wouldn't take no for an answer, and Amy, well, she had to go along with it. Finally, Gus agreed, but he made it plain that he wouldn't be staying in Clover Fork overnight. Well, I went over to the hotel and got myself a meal, and my room. Oh, Amy had invited me to supper, too, but I told her to make it some other time. After I'd eaten, I settled down in the lobby. The usual poker game was going on over in the corner. So I sat around for a while. And just as I was getting ready to go upstairs, I saw Gus come strolling in.
Good evening, Britt. I was hoping you'd not gone to bed yet.
Yeah, well, I sure was thinking about it, Gus. How was the supper?
Oh, it was first rate. Amy's a real fine cook. She's a fine woman, too, Britt. She's done a good job with the boy.
Well, I never heard anybody say otherwise. You went on playing dead, huh?
I must say I wrote myself a mighty pretty obituary.
You did?
Yeah. As Ted's concerned, he had just about the greatest father that ever lived.
Mm-hmm. Why did you change your mind, Gus? Why didn't you tell him who you really were?
Well, Amy was so set against it, and, I don't know, I figured maybe she was right. Ain't as if I was going to be with him or be hanging around town, but,
Yeah?
I did sort of promise to stay over another day.
Oh?
Well, the boy wants to go hunting tomorrow. It's Saturday. He don't have no school, and he ain't never been hunting with a man, Britt. I guess I owe him that much.
Yeah, sure.
The only thing is, if I'm going to stay over, well, I'll need me a little stake. Now, I'm not asking for a loan, you understand? Well, not without offering securities, anyhow. You noticed my stick pin, didn't you?
Yeah, I noticed it.
Well, it sure looks like a genuine diamond, don't it? Oh, it ain't, of course. It's just glass, but a smooth file. I really fooled more than one jeweler with that pin. So if I wasn't to claim it back, well, You could always get more than $5 for it. You wouldn't be out nothing.
No, I don't know, because $5 is a lot of money, you know.
You'll have it back before morning.
I will, huh?
Sure. You see that game over there in the corner?
Yeah.
Well, not one of them fellas knows the first thing about poker. You can tell from the way they're holding their cards.
Maybe so. I thought you said you were in a losing streak, though.
Well, I was until tonight. Now I got the doggonedest feeling my luck has changed. Ted sure had his heart set on going hunting.
All right. Here you are. Here's the money.
Thank you, Britt. Thank you. Here's the pin.
Oh, you don't have to
No, sir. A business transaction is a business transaction. Now, here, you take it.
Say, by the way, what did you tell Ted about yourself? I mean, about this George Parker you're claiming to be.
Oh, I said I was a no-good, no-count, roving gambler.
Oh, I said you did, huh?
Well, I had to tell him some truth, didn't I?
Yeah, I guess you did.
We'll return to James Stewart as the six-shooter in just a moment. But I'd like to pass on a word of thanks to you, our audience. Thanks from Jimmy Stewart, from our writer, Frank Burt, the entire technical crew, and our director, Jack Johnstone, for the warm, friendly letters we receive from you every week. It makes us feel that you are somehow sharing the pleasure that is ours in bringing you the six-shooter. We only wish it were possible to answer them all individually, for we appreciate hearing from you who may read more than us. Now, Act 2 of The Six-Shooter, starring James Stewart as Britt Ponsett.
Well, Gus paid me back first thing next day. And he had a whole lot more than $5 in his pocket, too. Plenty of silver and a roll of bills. I guess his luck had changed, all right. He was all fixed up to go hunting when I saw him, wearing some new breeches and a flannel shirt, carrying a compass rifle first class under his arm. I went about my business, picked up some parts for the pump on the Eagle J where I was working, and headed back to the ranch. And it was almost a week later before I came into town again. New harness for the mules this time. I was kind of surprised to see Gus playing poker in the hotel lobby when I registered. I figured he'd probably moved on by now. He waved to me and went on with the game, and it looked like to me he was still winning. Well, I went upstairs to my room and started to clean up for supper. Come in. Oh.
Howdy, Mr. Ponsett.
Well, how are you? Well, what can I do for you, Ted?
I stopped by the hotel to see Mr. Parker, but he's busy. He said you were back in town, so... Well, I'd like to talk to you, Mr. Ponsett.
Sure. Go ahead.
You're a friend of Mr. Parker's, ain't you?
Well, more or less, I reckon.
Well, I think he's getting ready to leave Clover Fork, Mr. Ponsett.
Oh?
He told me he never stays in one place very long. Not more than a few days, usually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with him, Mr. Ponsett. When he leaves, I'm going along. Oh, he don't know it yet, but I made up my mind. I ain't never had so much fun in my whole life as I have since he's come to town. We've been hunting and fishing, and he even let me play hooky from school day before yesterday so we could hire some horses and take us a ride out in the country. Oh, only don't you tell Aunt Amy.
All right, okay.
He must like me, don't you think?
Well, it sure looks like it, doesn't it?
He says he ain't got no family of his own. Well, I bet he gets lonesome. I bet he'd like having somebody with him.
Well...
He's just got to take me along. If he don't, I'll go anyway. I'll run away and I'll follow him. And I'll find him, too.
Now, just hold on.
Oh, it ain't that I don't appreciate what Aunt Amy's done for me, but I'm grown up now. I don't need a woman fussing and making me behave. I want to be like Mr. Parker. I want to move around and see lots of places the way he does. And I'll learn to be a gambler. I've watched him. I already know how to play poker. Some.
Oh? Uh-huh. Well, most anybody can learn how to play it. Is learning how to win. That's a mite more difficult.
Well, he never loses, Mr. Ponsett. There ain't nobody who can beat George Parker.
Is that so?
He's just about the finest man I ever met. Maybe not as fine as my pa was, but he was a friend of my pa, so Pa must have thought good of him, too.
Uh-huh.
I ain't been able to ask him about letting me go with him. I'm scared he'll turn me down. Of course, it wouldn't make no difference if he did. Like I said, I'll go anyhow. But, well, would you ask him for me? I mean, would you tell him what I've decided?
Well, don't you think maybe you ought to talk this thing over with your Aunt Amy?
Oh, that'd be just a waste of time. I know what she'd say, but it wouldn't make no difference.
All right, Ted. I'll ask Mr. Parker. I'll tell him what you decided.
I'll be doggone. So he wants to go off with me, huh? Well, I guess that proves something. Ted's my son, all right, and I guess maybe somewhere down deep inside, he knows it.
Maybe so, Gus, maybe so.
I don't know why I never thought of it myself. Well, ain't no reason why I shouldn't take him.
Oh, I sure don't know of any.
Why not? When I was his age, I'd already left home. He'd just be following in my footsteps. Except in this way, I'd be around to look after him.
Yeah, and he's a pretty big boy. He must have had some schooling by now, probably enough. More than likely enough.
Well, now, I don't know about that.
Well, of course, it won't make much difference, Gus, as long as he's going to be a gambler.
What?
Oh, yes. That's what he set his mind to being, a gambler.
Well, he ain't going to be no gambler, Britt. You think I want Ted to have the kind of life I've had? You think I'm proud of myself? Man wants his son to do better than he's done. Any man wants that.
Of course he does.
I could settle down, get a job again, make a real home for him. And then later on, I could let him know who I really am, that I'm his pa. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's just what I'll do.
Sure, yeah.
What's use trying to fool myself? I couldn't work steady or stay put. I couldn't do it for his ma. I couldn't do it for Ted. I'd be moving on inside of 6 weeks. Well, I guess it's up to me to lay down the law to him.
You know, he's a real determined youngster, Gus. He told me he'd run away and follow after you no matter what, and I believe him.
Oh, he'd come back to Amy soon enough.
You know, you didn't come back when you were his age and you ran away, did you?
Well, he ain't me, and he ain't going to make the same mistakes I did.
Well, maybe a good talking to will set him straight. But right now, you're his idol, Gus. Finest fellow that ever lived. Next to his dad, of course.
He said that?
That's what he said.
Britt, I can't be nobody's idol. And I don't want nobody following my example, least of all my own boy. I'm getting out of town tonight. Right now.
Now, you know, kids have pretty good memories, Gus. Some things they never forget. And some people, too. Even after you're gone, he'll still want to be like you.
No, he won't. Not if I... Hey, look, it's still early yet. I'll have time for a couple of hands of poker before I go. You don't play, do you, Britt?
No, not very much. Sometimes I kind of enjoy watching. There was a seat open when we got downstairs, and Gus moved right in. Boys sure were anxious to have him play, especially Bart Finch. Seems he'd lost quite a bit during the last week, and he wanted a chance to get some of it back. I stood by Gus's chair watching the play. He was just about holding his own the first few minutes. Then along about the fifth or sixth hand, I noticed he sort of tensed up. That wasn't like him, not from what I'd seen of his poker playing. Gus was the dealer, and Bart opened the pot. They raised each other a couple of times, and the other players dropped out. Then it came to a draw. Bart tossed in 2 cards, and one of them kind of hit on edge and almost flopped over. I couldn't see what it was, though, not from where I was standing. Gus dealt Bart 2 fresh cards and drew to himself. And then everybody seemed to get kind of quiet. Bart made a $10 bet, and Gus raised him to $25. Bart came right back with another raise, and Gus upped it again. And, that pot got to be about, $300, I think. Whew. Well, finally, Bart called.
All right, Parker. What do you got?
Well, let's see. Looks to me like about 2 pair.
Huh. Well, that just don't happen to beat a full house.
Well, it might. It might.
Hmm?
You see, Finch, I got 2 pair of jacks.
What?
4 there you are, jacks.
Keep away from them chips, Parker.
Well, what's the matter?
You're not cheating me.
You're talking crazy, Finch.
Oh, listen to me, boys. I threw in 2 discards. One of them was a jack. There's only 4 jacks in a deck.
Oh, he's all mixed up. That must have been the last hand.
Well, they're the discards. There's supposed to be 4 of them. 2 from me, 2 from him. There, now, what'd I tell you, boys? Only 3. He told himself my jack. That's how he's been winning all week, too. That's how he got our money. Well, you ain't going to cheat anybody else, Parker.
Hold on, now, take it easy, Finch.
You stay out of this, Ponset.
You put that gun away, I mean it,
You
Bart.
ain't going to stand up for a crooked gambler, Britt. Now I'm fixing it so he won't ever... Ow!
Now, the rest of you sit tight. If there's going to be any more gunplay around, you're going to get hurt. Except here's somebody for you, Parker. You better get out of town and fast. And you better think twice before you come back, too.
Don't worry, Ponset. I won't be coming back.
Oh, hello, Tad.
I'm looking all over for you. It ain't true, is it? What they say about Mr. Parker? He didn't cheat at poker. He couldn't have.
Well, I'm afraid that's how it looked.
I don't believe it. I won't. He isn't that kind of man. He just isn't. They even say that you told him to look for it and not to come back.
That's right.
Honest, Mr. Ponset?
That's what I told him, Ted.
You mean it? It really happened, what I heard?
It happened all right.
It's true. To think I wanted to go with him. I wanted to be like him. I must have been loco. Why, a man who cheats at cards, he's lower than a snake even.
Well, maybe Mr.